Okay, can I be heard? Probably the OBS thing is dancing when I speak. It's probably too loud. Let me know if it's too loud. I'm pretty sure it depends on how close I am to the mic. You know what's always a bit weird about microphone? That the short version mic, you write it as MIC, right? As a shortening of microphone, obviously. But if you write it as MIC, why do you pronounce it as mic? Because mic is M-I-K-E, not M-I-C. Why don't we say mic instead of mic? Just to mimic the original, I guess. I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to pronounce M-I-C as mic. Speaking of weird language things, we got this on here as well, since there's probably nobody here yet. I think I'll just start with this. Actually, that means we have to turn off this sound here, if we can. Where's the sound? Here. Oh, I can't see the sliders. Seems like a interface bug. Hello, Kelvin. I do have one viewer. So maybe I could play Duelyst, but we'll do the language thing first, I guess, until there are some more people. Also, interface bug, Kelvin. You see this? I don't have the sliding thing here. Oh, that was very loud probably for you. I don't see the sliders. It's not really a big deal, but just so you know. Play the daily challenge or campaign mode. Let's start with this first, because I don't actually know how this game works. I was a bit disappointed when I read that it's not based on text, but on listening, because that's so much harder. So now I can't impress my chat, because I'm really good at recognizing languages by looking at them, because I have this very autistic hobby of looking something up in Wikipedia and then just go to different languages I don't speak, just look at the language. It's just interesting to look at. It's like Dadaist poetry, you know? Do you have like dark mode extension or something fucking with the UI? What's the URL for this thing? Dark mode extension or something fucking with the UI? Probably because I'm in a private window. When I stream something in my browser, I use a private window just in case, because then it's less likely I leak something, because it doesn't save anything I normally have saved in browser stuff, right? Porn is illegal in Korea, by the way. What's the URL for this thing? Do you mean the language guesser? Because I thought you played it. Well, Macer put it in chat. I scrolled all the way up to find it because he told me to Google it. And I was like, yeah, but I don't know which one, because there probably are 5 million of these things. And I wanted the exact one he linked. But I will post it in the chat here, in this one, because it's quite far up in my Discord. This one. Anyway, I guess current guest, tap on the map. I didn't hear anything yet. Let's do that.
Саяны уулс Енисей мөрний их тагн тувааг энэ утгаар суурьшиж байсан гэж үздэг. Тэр цагт 20 төмөд буриад булагчин хэрэмчин ястнууд хойд тайгаар ан гөрөө хийж аж дүрдэг байжээ. Улмаар 1206 онд Чингис хааны байгуулсан их Монгол улсын нэгэн хэсэг нь
I mean that must be Mongolian, right? If it's not Mongolian, it's gonna be something near it, like, I don't know, Kakas, which is like here, or Tuvan, which is like here, but I think I even heard the word Mongol at the end. And the singing, well, that there are more Central Asian traditions that do that type of singing. Sounded like some kind of Mongolian. Tap on the map. Oh, there we go. You were correct, Mongolian, yep. It actually wasn't the most typical Mongolian sound, because usually Mongolian has a lot of these kind of crispy snow sounds. You know what I mean? When you walk on the snow with your boots, like that kind of stuff. And I didn't really hear that, but it was still obviously Mongolian. To me, it's very obvious, because I unironically like both Khumai and Urtindu. Khumai is the throat singing, and Urtindu is something that in English gets translated as long song. Those songs are ironically not long usually. They're usually short, but they pronounce the vowels for a fucking long time. So they sing like 3 lines, and it lasts 3 minutes. I didn't do so well. I had it correct immediately. Get wrecked. What did you guess? But yeah, listening is tough though. Like for example, I can very easily recognize Georgian. Has a very beautiful alphabet. But if I hear it, I'm probably not gonna guess it. I don't know what it sounds like. I just know what it looks like. Russian. Well, to be fair, that's not that easy because to us Germanic speakers, the different East Slavic languages sound quite similar, right? Like I can't hear the difference between Belarusian and Russian and Ukrainian and Russian. Polish I would get because, well, I had a girlfriend from there. When you hear a language for a time, you start to recognize it, right? I do hear the difference between Polish and Russian. But Belarusian, Ukrainian, Russian, I don't hear the difference between these 3. So I might not have guessed that immediately either. How do we play this again? Can we?
And no matter what anybody says,
what the fuck is this?
No single perfect way to learn.
It's fucking
so you
English.
Rely on just a few methods. 네, 가장 중요한 거는 여러분이 오늘 중점적으로 배우는 이 표현들을 가지고
Why is it switching to Korean now? I'm so confused.
만들어서
I was first like, what is this fucking meme? It's just fucking English. Nice language guesser game, and then it switched to Korean. Like, is this AI reading my mind of the languages that I know? So I guessed English because I didn't listen to it all. Clicked on the UK, 0 points. I mean, that's fair because it was fucking English. That's not a very good thing. Hello? I say, I'm tapping on the map. Fucking hell, it just kept zooming in instead of tapping. You are correct. Imagine if I didn't guess that one. I mean, I could have if I also didn't listen to the end, like Calvin did. Okay, so it's multiple challenges per day, I see. I mean, that's very stereotypical Austronesian, like Hawaii, but it's not just the music, but also this all these vowels. Like the Polynesian languages have a shit ton of vowels, which is why they sound so pleasant. Like, I'm not sure if it's actually Hawaiian because I'm pretty sure that language is barely alive nowadays, but it's a safer guess than any of these fucking tiny island nations. So I'm gonna click. Why can't I tap? How does this work? How do I select land? It just doesn't do it. Okay, now it does. No, I don't want United States of America. I know it's US, I know, but okay, then maybe I shouldn't guess Hawaii because I can't select Hawaii specifically. Honestly, it could be a Finnish meme song. Because maybe I'm being directed a bit too much into the Polynesian direction because of the music style. The music style is such... It's not traditional Polynesian, but like the old-fashioned... not old-fashioned. The type of Polynesian music that the Christians enforced onto them, and then they... now it's their new identity, unfortunately. That's that kind of pseudo-traditional Polynesian music, but it could honestly be Finnish. Finnish doesn't have as many vowels as the Polynesian languages. I mean, it doesn't repeat as often, but it can have this kind of sound, this kind of, I don't know, Finnish people make a lot of meme music besides metal, so let me... Ipola. The thing, the pola thing, upola. That actually sounds Finnish, like upola, impola. it's annoying that they use songs because some languages sound so different when they're sung as well. I really had this experience with Hungarian. When I was in high school, I had this album by Deep Forest. It's like kind of cheesy, fake traditional music, but it samples real traditional music. And then I looked up what the fuck are these songs that are being sampled. I like it so much. And then it turned out to be Hungarian. And then when I heard spoken Hungarian, it was just completely different. Because when sung, it's a really, really nice language. When spoken, it's kind of whatever. But when sung, for some reason, Hungarian gets super beautiful to me. So songs make it even harder. And yeah, I feel like I'm being forced into a Polynesian choice because of the music choice. Anyway, let's read chat first before I select something. I'm ashamed I missed this one. Hawaiian is a language in the US. Like it's an official one, you mean? It's just, I'm a bit suspicious because I can't select Hawaii specifically. It just makes it US. And I feel like the game might register English only for the US because that's the only official language, right? I think in some states, Spanish is also official, but not on a national level, right? On a national level, it's just English, no? Same with Hawaiian and probably maybe the natives have some kind of rights in Alaska, or probably not. It's the US. Native rights, lul. You can build casinos and that's it. There is no official language of the US. Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting. And it kind of makes sense with how multicultural it is, right? But then why is, for example, the law written in English, right? Like everything is done in English, right? Like all these very official things related to government and law, etc., has to be in English, no? So then isn't it official, or is it like in Dutch you have a word that means official but not on paper? So you have officieel, which just means official, and officieus, which is of course a very similar word, right? And that's like it's official but not on paper. So it's not. It's kind of a fake official. Is it like that? Is it like a fake official? The fact is pretty much English and Spanish. Okay. So indeed, on paper there is no thing, no official language, but de facto it's English and Spanish. So then I guess if the game follows the real rules of life, then selecting this country means nothing. You will never be right if you select the United States because they have no language, at least not officially. I don't know, man. This one is difficult. I feel like this might be a trick question because of the meme music. And then I might actually impress my one viewer if I'm correct with Finnish. Fuck you, bot. Oh, thanks. You did it. Let's listen one more time and then just select something. And this one is actually really tough. Because even if it's not Polynesian, not a Polynesian language, it could also be Estonian. Estonian and Finnish sound the same if you don't have any experience. They're very closely related languages. It's just they pronounce so many vowels in a row that I feel like it just has to be a Polynesian language. Because Finnish is more. It's not exactly like Japanese, but it's kind of like Japanese that it's the average syllable has a consonant and then a vowel. And Polynesian languages also do that a lot, but they also have those vowel-only syllables sometimes in some of those languages. This aoe is just vowels. But maybe that's just the meme song. Maybe it is, even in this language, it might be nonsense as well, right? Because in music, people sing like la 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 in English, right? That doesn't mean anything. So music is just fucking evil to make this game with. Okay, I think I will rule my perfect score now because I'm gonna guess Finland and it's gonna be some Polynesian thing. Yeah. Fucking hell, I got baited by the game. I knew it was Hawaiian. But because I couldn't select Hawaii. Yeah, okay, I think it's Duelyst time. Fuck this game. Like, I would have... This was literally what I clicked immediately. And the only reason why I started thinking about other things was because I couldn't select Hawaii. It just said United States. I know it is the United States, but... Yeah, this is actually more infuriating than Magmar. So, let's play Duelyst. I had perfect score, but the game decided to be badly made. Like, me knowing Korean is not very impressive, right? But immediately knowing it was Mongolian and Hawaiian, I think is pretty good. But the game doesn't allow me to shine. If it makes you feel any better, I guess Serbian. Slavic languages are like the most consonant-heavy languages in the world, Kelvin. They have like the most fucked up consonant clusters. Well, okay, that's not true. After Georgian. Georgian has the most fucked up consonant clusters. And then the Slavic languages. So that does make me feel better. I actually do still feel good about myself because I had a perfect score. Just the game didn't allow me to have a perfect score by being badly designed. But I have video evidence that I'll upload to YouTube that I had a perfect score if the game didn't troll me. It was so obvious too that's why it was my first guess, but I just couldn't select fucking Hawaii. Fucking terrible game. I need an opponent. Any opponents? Oops, double N, but whatever. Any opponents? Let me check if someone is online. Oh, Kelvin is. My sound is off. Let's do fake raised, I guess, because I don't know what to select. That's actually interesting matchup because this deck is relatively good against Magmar for a Vannar deck. I'm just keeping his hands very greedy, but there we go. The music is back. Very greedy, but I don't know. I feel like these friendlies are good opportunities to see what happens if you make plays that you know are risky or maybe not optimal, or you just don't know what happens if you do them because you never do them. So yeah, I feel like this is not... I should probably replace the Archon, but I'm not going to. I live on the edge. Mystic value, thanks to the blood here. I would have not kept this, by the way, if Origins didn't give you an extra card as player 2, but it does. So I felt like it was worth the risk. And I got rewarded, I think. If you look at my head now, it seems pretty good. Speaking of bad game design in the language guesser game, Calvin, the thing that happened to you, right? That What the fuck was that? That they started with English and then switched to Korean, and that's why you had it wrong. That's so mean as well. This combo is so good, but he positioned well against it. I kind of just want to replace this. I want to clear his board and deny the tile, so that's why I'm giving him the blood here. Doesn't really matter because he could just kill the Mystic as well. So it doesn't matter that I give him this free punch. Kinda sucks to replace a Chrome Cold when I have Sister in my hands, but Calvin already played around it too well last turn. Okay, we're gonna have a meme 5-mana turn because of my hand management. I will play this if I don't get a good replace, so that I have a net select buffer for this boy the turn after. Nope, what the fuck is this hand? 5-mana Hearthister, feels good, man. Yeah, I guess with how greedy this deck is, I definitely shouldn't have kept this in my opening hand. I kind of forgot what's in this deck, but I'm starting to remember now. It's basically a Zowie deck. Lol. Obviously, I'm just keeping this garbage. Why wouldn't I? Actually, I played into meta. I think his general is still stunned, but this isn't. So I should have put this one backwards, which does give more Mercantor value, but also Mercantor would not really do anything, right? Because this has 9 health. Sure, he hits 3 targets, but it's whatever. I guess if he metas, it takes his whole turn, and he's forced to put the Vindicator here so I can just punch it. So that would not be a bad trade, right? Because that basically means I trade 1 Archon for a Vindicator and a meta. And I keep the tempo up, so... Yeah, maybe this is a misplay, but if it's a misplay, it's one that doesn't matter. Is there such a thing, a misplay that doesn't matter? I guess if you're super ahead, so ahead that it doesn't matter what you do anymore, then... But that's not the case here, you know, it's a Magmar. Does it work when he's stunned? Okay, it does. That's good to know that that works, because that means I should keep the Smash Boy away from him. These two together are very good, right? I don't want to be next to Mercantor with this thing. So I'm not gonna Dancing Blades this, because the only way to Dancing Blades this is I go here, Dancing Blades here, then I'm in Mercantor range. If I Dancing Blades the Phalanx Star instead, I can move 2 up to play around Mercantor. And now I'm completely spread out against Mercantor. That was the idea here. Mercantor is now a dead card. And he can't net select this. Maybe I shouldn't have walked this thing that far back. But Yeah, like here, there's no reason not to put it one more forward. That was a misplay. No reason to backline it this much. Because yeah, here then he can enter my face and ignore my board. I don't think he can raise me, but maybe. But yeah, one forward, there's no downside to that for me. There's no reason not to put it here. So that was a bit of a brain off moment. I still like my hand here. Metaphor Dancing Blades, basically. That's not bad. Oh, he's playing that combo stuff. Then I should definitely keep these. I have only one Heart Sister left in the deck, so I don't think I can backline these things. It's not very realistic. So just play a 7/7 in his face, I guess, and hit him in the face as well, because he's playing combo probably. I don't know if I have Snowpiercers in this deck. It doesn't really fit the idea of a crazed Vanarlist, but I did really want to clear this, otherwise he can replicate this thing on board. It still works. I guess I can run away, but I don't really want to run away. Okay, there's only one meta left in his deck. Why does he have to have a minion? It's really annoying. I don't need two of these removals. Is that lethal? No, it's not. Because we need to hit the Mystic. I want to make this hard to block. Do I need to just backline this thing really hard so that he can't... No, he can't net select this ever anyway, right? I think I just move it in. I'm just a bit worried about randomly dying to Magmar bullshit. But with an Archon on board, that shouldn't be possible, right? Because the Elucidator combo is 9 mana nowadays because Flash... Not Flash. The 0 mana 3 damage thing doesn't exist anymore, so you have to play Greater Fort. That makes the combo 9 mana, and that means with Archon it's too much. I guess the old combo is also too much with Archon anyway, because it makes every spell +1. So the old combo was also cocked by Archon, now that I think about it. So it's starting to look like keeping Archon in my opening hand is actually paying off. Depends, of course. We didn't win yet, and we might not need this other one. So then it was mean to keep it, but it probably was. But like I said, these friendlies, in these friendlies I like doing some plays that I normally don't do, just to see what happens. I guess he's playing Elucidator combo because he wants to try Tremor, and Tremor makes a lot of sense. Okay, that's his last meta. Classic Magmar, always have all the removal that you need. I can play this with an Archon. I think I have lethal with Chrome Cold. I definitely do. And I didn't play any yet, so I definitely have to replace. Let's replace a Rejuve. Is that lethal? It's 4/6. No, it's not lethal. Should I... Do I just randomly die to Elucidator anyway now because I didn't play Archon? Because I definitely could just play Archon and ignore the Vindicator, no? I can't push him so low that... So that he can't play Elucidator, that's not an option. Well, if he has it, he has it, I guess. But yeah, I could have played this other Archon. Oh, of course, I got the card I needed one turn too late. Classic. I didn't replace much this game, so it is my own fault. Like, even if I die to Magmar Cheeser now, which would be pretty unlucky on 4 cards, because the combo is 4 cards, it would still be my own fault, because I could have just played another Archon. And I could have replaced more in previous turns, and then I would have had this the previous turn already. And again, I kept Archon in my opening hand. But yeah, that could have actually won me the game. If he has combo here now, which he doesn't, then keeping the Archon in my opening hand was actually the correct play. But then I should have actually played it, this last Archon. Felt like Macantor too slow, that's why I played into it. But maybe that's not the case, because he just keeps drawing minions for some reason. This and this is lethal, so that means I just kill the Phalanxar, right? That's it, so Macantor is indeed too slow. That took a bit longer to see than it should have. And these are the situations where I'm happy to play some out-of-hand damage in a control deck. Well, I'm not sure if you can really call this control, but... You know, for Duelyst standards, it's control. Let's look what is actually in the list, because I'm not sure. Okay, the Goofy that we saw is actually a one-off. And then we have 6 other late-game cards. Dancing Blades, Avalanche times 3 is a bit much, but... Yeah, this does look like a crazy list, except it plays Blood here. I don't think he ever plays that. I'm also kind of short on removal, but that's fake because Dancing Blades and Meltdown. Seems like just kind of brain dead mid-range list. Yeah, that's why it's called Fake Crazed. Let's play another game, I suppose. Oh, he's building a deck. Maybe I should also make another deck or look for another one to play. Dreamshaper Zoo could be fun. Dreamshaper is very insane and fun. Pretty sure it's the best card in the game. This deck was really bad. But maybe I just don't know how to play Aggro Venar. I never really played that ever. Creep with Blood Tears. Oh yeah, but now Bastion is 4 health, so I don't really want to play it anymore. Which makes Banishing and Breath a lot worse. I guess I could just backline the Bastions. And then it still works with Breath and Banishing. Because I'm not sure what you could replace. Shrouds, I suppose. I did miss Shroud in this list sometimes. 3 BTA Bastion. And then just because you know the deck was made before the Bastion nerf. 3 BTA and then Shroud. Because that was really the only thing I was missing in this list, but now we probably have an issue with hand size in the early game, is the thing. Artifact Hunter is a nice way to bridge the mid game, because that's also kind of difficult for this deck. As you can see, no 5 drops. It's kind of like 5 and 6 mana turns are kind of rough with this kind of list. Actually, without Bastion, the banishings just don't really work, right? But how do we deal with big boys? Breath is not completely reliable in that regard. Maybe just 2 Shrouds and somehow fit in 2 Bastions. Maybe just cut the callers. It is nice though. It is nice sometimes. But let's try minus Crawl. Because yeah, getting the 5 damage on a Nova can be very nice. And having a Creep Tire early to make your lures do a bit more damage can also be very nice, but 2 Shroud, 2 Bastion, triple Grasp, so that we still have some 1 mana plays. I'm not sure if I should replace 1 Grasp for a 3rd Shroud or a 3rd Bastion. We do have less 1-drops now, because I cut the crawlers. Well, actually just 1-drop less, because I increased Grasp by 1. What I was trying to say is, for that reason I can maybe play just 2 Bastions, that's fine. This one has 1 minion more. And I do like having the same amount of minions because of the Breath and Banishing. So maybe I keep it on 2 Grasps, which means I do still go triple Bastion. So that I can actually find my 2 offs easily, the Shroud and the Grasp, because they're matchup cards. Grasp is sometimes also just a damage card, it's not purely matchup. Yeah, let's try Creep without Crawler, see if that feels good. Because Crawler, I always feel like it's such a bad card, but then the Nova's doing 5 damage on the first one can be pretty relevant, especially against Magmar and Linar, because they actually play 5 health minions a lot. Minus Crawler. But outside of that, it's just a 1 mana 2-1. Purple is indeed very purple coats, I agree. I'll probably play some Dream Shaper next. Hello, game? What was the thing again? Control R? Yes. It is Control R. Hello. I think we're gonna do the language guesser game a bit again until this is fixed. Let me do it like this. Otherwise, I'm still scared to leak shit. You know, we got decoy, so if I leak something, it will be history forever. Eternal history. The Duelyst reporter. I really do like that nickname. Let's do this campaign and see if... Fucking hell, I don't want to do that. I was like, maybe the daily challenge is troll, which we've already seen that is very troll. But maybe the campaign mode is not as troll. But then you have to sign up. Is there a way to not do that? Okay, I will sign up. I guess. I'm pinged in Discord, let me check. You should do Scrandle as well. Baller game, says Kylis. Do you guys know what Scrandle is? Let me block the screen. And I will look at Scrandle. And probably sign up for this language thing, which I don't really want to do, but... Scrandle, is that correct spelling? Yes. The thrilling daily game of food comparison. A few exotic delicious scran from around the world. Guess which scran... I know you can't see the screen, chat. I'm just reading for you. Guess which scran is superior as independent you get by 1,000 food to scran followers. Play daily. Practice. Okay, maybe we just play this way. Let me first sign up for Language Guesser with my spam account. I think every self-respectable human has a spam account, right? Like an email that you just use for this kind of garbage. For things you have to sign up for but don't want to sign up for. Let me do that. That's why the screen is black. Fucking hell. That's annoying. No. Fucking hell. I hate this kind of shit. I have to go to my Gmail, blah, blah, blah. I have to keep the screen black. But people like black box content, right? We're duelists, after all. Sign into languageguesser.io. What does the IO actually mean? I see a lot of these kind of daily games use that IO domain. Is it just because it's cheap, or is there a real reason for it? Language guesser, go back there. Log in. Ah, it's so annoying. Welcome back. Okay, it's actually working. Sign link. Why do I have to do it again?
Why is it so
I
quiet?
think this is not working.
Whoa!
This game is just
Holy
complete troll.
fucking... Ow!
Black screen pog, I know, right? Mazer, this game is poorly designed. I had 1% score, but I couldn't select Hawaii. So I selected something else because I couldn't select Hawaii for Hawaiian, even though I recognized it immediately. And the other thing was, I didn't get trolled by this because I listened to the end, but Calvin got mega trolled. One fragment started with like 10 seconds of English and then switched to fucking Korean. But at least I listened to the end, so then I selected Korean, but I wasn't even sure if that was correct because they also spoke English at the beginning. But I was like, it's probably about the second part. But how do you even know if it's about the first or the second part? It was literally half English, half Korean. And well, I guess correct. I guess correct that it was about the second part. Language guesser thingy, is it working yet? So there were two complete troll things. One of them, I dodged the troll attack. But with the I can't select Hawaii thing, I didn't dodge it. So then I didn't get the perfect score on my daily challenge, and I was very sad. And that made me rage quit the game and go to Duelyst. You are poorly designed. I'm a human. I'm perfect because, God created me in his image and God is perfect. Just want you to know that. He spent 15 minutes gaslighting himself into thinking it was finished because Hawaii is in the US. Yes, and I also stated like 5 times, I know Hawaii is part of the US, but I can't select Hawaii. And Hawaiian is not the official language of the US, so I can't select what I want to select. So then indeed I just gaslit myself into, okay, maybe this is Finnish because it has this palo thingy in here, and Finnish people have a lot of meme songs, because it was also a song on top of that, and it was a bit of a meme song. God created Adam. You were made by your mom and being drunk. I like that one. Probably not untrue. Actually, maybe untrue, because I have a fun story. I was made in Nepal. I'm literally made in Nepal. So it's not a coincidence I'm so much into Asian food and Indian food for that matter. Because when they calculated backwards, my mother got pregnant during the honeymoon in Nepal. So yeah, I was made in the Himalaya. Why do you think I like mountains in Asia? So I'm not sure if they were drunk because they were hiking. I don't think you should drink alcohol then. I hope they didn't. They did have a lot of stories about both of them being very sick during that trip all the time. So I don't think they were drunk, but they were definitely not in the right mind. That is true. Bro, stop watching Solo Leveling for this. This is a good story, okay? That's funny. My Korean friend, not girlfriend, also recommended me that shit, but I didn't watch it because most anime is quite disappointing. Anyway, let's unblock the screen. Wait, is this the correct one? Let me. Okay, let's close this browser. Yeah, okay, it's working. This is campaign. I don't know what that entails, but we will see, I suppose. And we're also gonna do the Scrandle and more Duelyst. Oh, it's still fucked. The servers are still fucked. Let me Control R again. In the meantime, yeah, my game is still fucked. My Duelyst. So leveling is a J anime because you would not like it. Why are you watching a J anime? Like nobody memes as hard on J as you do. So anyway, campaign. What do we click? What is language basics? I'm not a basic bitch, but let's do this because this is the language area I know the least about if we're going into all these native languages that you have in South and Middle America. Yeah, for example, Guarani, I don't really know what that sounds like. Or Haitian, I don't even really know where that comes from, but I think it's a Creole language, right? So it's a mix of a bunch of things. Maori? Why is Maori here in the Americas? Oh, and Pacific, okay. Start game. But yeah, just want to let you know I had a 100% perfect score on the daily challenge. So I'm very good at this game, okay? Click language basics. Okay, I'll go back. Can I do that? Yes. Dutch? Why is my language in here with relevant languages? Why is Dutch here? Since when do I teach a real language? Start game.
إنه يعيش في طوكيو. ليركب الكل.
What the fuck did you just say? What was this huge break in the middle? And why did you say Tokyo?
إنه يعيش في طوكيو. ليركب الكل.
Dutch is a colonial language, except it isn't. That was like the unique thing about the Dutch colonial empire is that it didn't really enforce the language like any of the other colonial powers. Nobody in Indonesia speaks Dutch, you know. They do it in the Dutch Caribbean, but it was also not enforced as much as other countries. Because the Netherlands has a long history of not taking their own language very seriously. Belgium is the real reason why Dutch exists. The northern part of Belgium are the protectors of the language. The Netherlands, they never took their own language seriously. I can talk about that for a long time. How about South Africa, brother? Afrikaans is not Dutch. It's basically 17th century Dutch mixed with English and a little bit of German. Like, yes, I can read it very easily. And I can even speak to people that speak Afrikaans, even though I never studied it for even a minute. But it's not 100% the same, you know. They are super close, but basically, I think I can understand Afrikaans very well as well because I studied old Dutch literature and blah, blah, blah. That makes it easier because a lot of the vocabulary is a bit old-fashioned for us. And the funny thing is, it's also the other way around. That if I use informal words, then to Afrikaans speakers, it sounds formal. 17th century Dutch mixed with English and German is modern Dutch. How is it different? No French vocab. That's a pretty big deal. Dutch has a lot of French words from Napoleon times, and South Africa dodged that bullet, obviously. And English influence on the Dutch language is very recent and much stronger. I would say that Dutch is more English than Afrikaans at this point. But they got influenced at different times by English. Pick the obvious language already. Good point.
إنه يعيش في طوكيو.
Nahui. You heard that? Nahui Tokyo. Is this you, Macer?
الكل.
Nahui Tokyo.
إنه يعيش في طوكيو.
Why are you talking about
ليركب
the Japanese, about the Japanese capital?
إنه يعيش في طوكيو. ليركب الكل.
Let's do Arabic. It's such a weird sample. It could be anything, honestly. Yeah, I was correct. Okay, still 100% score.
Sie kann bis zu 18.000 Liter pro Stunde pumpen und das bei nur 550 Watt.
I know what
Diese
language it
Pumpe
is,
ist
but
auch für Schmutzwasser geeignet.
obviously it's German, but what the fuck? Okay, I have to listen to this again. This sounded so funny.
Sie kann bis zu 18.000 Liter pro Stunde pumpen
Push
und
it
das
up,
bei
pump.
nur 550 Watt. Diese Pumpe ist auch für Schmutzwasser geeignet.
He's basically talking about Smooshwasser. I think he's talking about fucking plumbing. It sounds like he's saying this has this much watt and it can transfer this much water, this much dirty water through it. I think he's actually talking about some kind of sewage system. That's why I was laughing. Because, yeah, I did have German in high school. Not that I really understand what he said, but it was definitely something very mean. With his dog in the background, exactly. It's such a weird sample again. All these samples so far are so weird. Like the Korean one had English in the first seconds. And the previous one was like 3 words with a long break in between.
Sie kann bis zu 18.000 Liter pro Stunde pumpen und das bei nur 550 Watt.
What is that word?
Diese Pumpe ist auch für Schmutzwasser geeignet.
Yeah, you see, it's a pump. It's a pump that can pump dirty water through something and has this much watt and this much processing power. But what is this pump? It's so fucking funny. I want to hear it one more time.
Sie kann bis zu 18.000 Liter pro Stunde pumpen und das bei nur 550 Watt.
And then people say Dutch
Diese
is a
Pumpe
meme
ist auch
language.
für Schmutzwasser geeignet.
People say Dutch is a meme language, and then you have this shit. Abra, I wish he was here. I need to know what that push in the boom, what that means. I need to know what that word is. Hello? Can you select Germany? Thanks. It's so slow. This does sound Dutch, to be honest. I mean, German and Dutch do sound very similar. I'm pretty sure German and Dutch to you, Macer, is like Belarusian and Russian to me. Like, you just can't hear the difference. I literally can't hear the difference between Belarusian and Russian. I'm pretty sure Afrikaans, Dutch, and German is the same for you.
Que se alce el telón. A nosotros no nos gusta que nos hagan explotar.
Why are these samples so weird? Like, I'm 99% sure it's Spanish, but it doesn't sound like Spanish, you know what I mean? The same with the German and Arabic. The Arabic and the German, I could recognize it, but it didn't actually sound like German and Arabic. The samples are so weird. Yeah, there we go. Like, I literally just came back from Spain, you know? I was there 2 weeks ago, and it just didn't sound like Spanish at all.
Bonjour, dans cette vidéo, tu vas pouvoir
Shut
t'entraîner.
up. Everyone knows who you are. Bonjour. Bonjour my ass. I can hear the diff. That's impressive. Or do you mean Belarusian Russian? Because obviously you can hear that difference. Then I'm not impressed.
Que fala do 666 e não diz que é número do capeta. Diz que é número de homem.
Okay, easy Portuguese. Portuguese is basically German, Spanish. It's pretty ugly, to be honest. It's definitely one of my least favorite Roman languages. There we go. Legendary, you're absolutely unstoppable. Wow, a perfect score. Nice. How does this work? Do we now move to the next level where it becomes hard?
Aiuta anche per imparare il glossario tecnico del progetto senza doversi leggere un elenco. Levar chiodi. A dire il vero non ne voglio parlare, grazie.
So, again, this was Italian. That doesn't sound like Italian. But what are these samples, man? They're so weird. Hello? There we go. Do all languages now. French is easy to recognize all the time. Yeah, it is. All languages now. Is that an option back here? Yes, it is. Okay. Now it will be hard.
Амилат литературачы ия айырпшы залшамта курза ахцапша орден айбетпей айвезера янышып Виталий Амарша.
Kubi Farsi.
Амилат литературачы ия айырпшы залшамта курза ахцапша орден айбетпей айвезера янышып Виталий Амарша.
West Slavic, you're welcome. I was thinking Slavic or Farsi. Because the reason why my initial idea was something Slavic, but then I heard this Joep and this Schlup. You know what I mean? The Joep and the Schlup. And that didn't sound so Slavic to me, but since you were Russian, you probably know. Doing some cultural exercises? Indeed. So far, I have everything correct at the beginning of the stream and in the second portion because Duelyst got fucked. Oh, it's back. I forgot, but we'll go back soon, I guess. And we are also supposed to play this. Kylis recommended to me in Discord. But yeah, West Slavic is a nice meme because that's not a thing that exists. So I'm gonna do. It unironically does sound Slavic to me, but because of the shloop and the chlup, I'll let you hear it, Darb. What I mean, there is this kind of guttural sound and this yoop, and that sounds not that Slavic to me.
Амилат литературачы ия айырпшы залшамта курза ахцапша орден айбетпей айвезера янышып Виталий Амарша.
Shoop sham. But at the very beginning, there is a word that really sounds Polish at the very beginning. This.
Амилат литературачы ия айырпшы залшамта курза.
Prashalsham. You hear that? Prashalsham. There is this Prashalsham. That sounds so Polish, but I don't think it is. I would recognize Polish. Yeah, who the fuck knows Abkhaz? Like, I know where it is, but Abkhazian is like spoken by 500,000 people. It's over here. This little corner. It's very beautiful, by the way, Abkhazia. But hey, I was not far off. It's an Indo-European language that is almost in the Middle East, just like Farsi. Because yeah, for people that don't know, Farsi is just Persian, but Persian is like the English word for Farsi. So I was not far off, right? Macer, did you recognize this? It's former Soviet Union language, so But yeah, I would actually like to visit Abkhazia, but it's probably not a great idea at the moment. It's a bit of a... Georgia is a bit unstable at the moment. You can press the refresh button to make a new sample, by the way. Oh, I didn't know that. I literally never clicked this. That would have maybe helped, but I would have never guessed Abkhazian because I didn't know it would give me obscure languages. Like, how many people speak that? 500,000 or something? Let me Google that. Abkhazian, how many speakers? Oh, it's even smaller. 100,000 people. Like I was off by I expected 5 times more than is actually the case. Like this is barely a language. I don't know if it's probably very close to Georgian, right? I'm not sure because the interesting thing is about the Caucasus languages is that they are apparently very different from each other, even though they're right next to each other because the mountains make the languages so isolated. And there also are a shit ton of languages in this very tiny area. Anyway, Abkhazian is pretty meme. Let's go to the next one.
সাবজেক্টটা দিয়ে আপনি শুরু করবেন প্রথম অংশ, পরের অংশের অর্থটাও কিন্তু ওই সাবজেক্টের অধীনেই বোঝাতে হবে। আমি বলতে চাচ্ছি এটা অনেকটা শর্ট ফর্ম অফ আই ডোন্ট নো, যেমন আমরা শিখেছি আই উইল গো দেয়ার অর নট।
Why does he switch to English? Just like that Korean sample. That really is one heck of a deep cut. Yeah, exactly. I don't think anyone will be able to guess that except Abkhazians and Georgians and maybe some Russians living on the border with Abkhazia. I think you guys should already be impressed that I knew what Abkhazian was, that I know that it's spoken here. Sukhumi is the capital of Abkhazia. You know, I just like the world. I like world maps, I like languages, I like autism. Hindi, yeah, I think so too, because it's very clearly a guy teaching English in some South Asian language. But the thing is, there's so many languages in South Asia that I could easily be wrong, but I do think it's
সাবজেক্টটা দিয়ে আপনি শুরু করবেন প্রথম অংশ, পরের অংশের অর্থটাও কিন্তু ওই সাবজেক্টের অধীনেই বোঝাতে হবে। আমি বলতে চাচ্ছি এটা অনেকটা শর্ট ফর্ম অফ আই ডোন্ট নো, যেমন আমরা শিখেছি আই উইল গো দেয়ার অর নট।
You know, it's way easier to hear that it's Hindi from his English accent than from the language itself. They should stop giving these samples with English inside. That's really stupid. Bengali. Well, I was still correct apparently. This is what I mean with there are a million languages there that I can't tell apart, so I wasn't sure if it was Hindi. Yeah, Bengali is obviously spoken more in Bangladesh than in India, but it's also spoken in India, like close to the border. I would have guessed Urdu. Nice meme. Urdu, for people that don't understand Calvin's meme, Urdu is basically Hindi, but written with Arabic letters instead. It's basically a religious/political divide. It's not really a language. Well, it is a language, but I mean, so is Hindi. It's just basically you have a coin. You have head and you have tails. One of them is Hindi, one of them is Urdu, right? It's a coin with two faces, with two sides. I found Korean and French to be the easiest to recognize despite me not knowing them. Yeah, French is indeed very easy to recognize, but I'm surprised you find Korean so easy to recognize. For me, it's obviously easy, but, you know, I fucking live here and I studied it, etc. I don't think it was easy for me to recognize before I learned it. But French, yeah, very easy. I also had it in high school, so that makes French even easier. These are just people laughing. Next sample, there was not the language, there was people laughing.
Aku menunjukkan kamarku padanya.
What?
Pagi ini karena ada waktu, saya keluar rumah setelah membaca koran.
Oh, yeah, of course. Maybe it's, yeah, there we go. You know, my ancestors colonized this country, so of course I know. Korean is stupid easy to recognize because of the tonality and sentence ending. But, oh, you mean, but I don't think many people know the yo thing, Macer. you need to know something about Korean to know that most sentences end in yo. If it's and if it's casual speech, then you have nothing to recognize it by the end. And tonality, I guess you mean the intonation, right? Because it's not a tonal language.
Меѓутоа, доколку има потреба од измолзување, односно доколку постојат пречки како што е во случајот со детето кое што имало френулум, значи кое што било предвремено родено со помала родилна тежина, може да биде и терминско со помала родилна тежина.
Someone coughing again. He said frenulum. That's the little skin from your dick head to the rest of your dick. You have the acorn, right? The nut on top of your sausage. And then there is this little bit of meat that connects the acorn to the sausage. He literally said that. But bro, everyone watched Squid Game? Yeah, I guess I kind of missed how popular Korean culture became because I was in Korea when that happened. So then you don't really notice it in a way, right? Because you don't have Koreans talking about Korea in Korea. Like if I lived in the Netherlands, suddenly everyone would be talking about I am watching this Korean thing, but that's obviously not a thing in Korea. So maybe I kind of underestimate how many people watch that. It was super popular in Korea too, of course, except season 2. Nobody seems to care. I have also not watched it, and basically nobody talked about it. It's kind of weird how little interest there was in that, at least in Korea. I don't know the rest of the world. Was season 2 also a flop in the rest of the world? In Korea, then nobody's talking about it. Sounds like a mix of Russian and Japanese. Then it's Sakhalin. That's not a real language. But I guess Ainu. But I also heard Slavic things. I will listen to it again because I kind of forgot already. And I didn't hear the Japanese thing, but I did hear something Slavic. I can't fucking say K-pop. Every goddamn company has some K-pop Star of the Week special. Same here, unfortunately. That did allow me to communicate with my ex's sister. This whole Korean craze in Japan. Her sister spoke Korean, so I could actually speak to her sister. That was pretty fun. And I could speak to her father too because his English was actually pretty good. And then I couldn't speak to her mother, and she didn't like it. Her mother didn't like it. My ex didn't care. It's because you're in fucking Fukuoka. Yeah, that's true, Mazer. When I was in Fukuoka, I also noticed that there is way more Korean stuff in Fukuoka than anywhere else in Japan. As in, there was also a lot of Korean, just written, just as to help Korean tourists. I mean, here and there. In any touristic place, there was Korean in Fukuoka. Season 2 is basically half a season, but it's good. Maybe I will watch it at some point with my girlfriend. Then I kind of forgot about it because again, nobody's really talking about it. I did see some adverts in Korea for it, but I tend to just ignore adverts. So I wonder why there's a lot of Korean in Fukuoka. I know why, Mazer. Why do you think I've been in Fukuoka? Because it was so easy to go there by boat from Busan. I was like, why not? That's literally the reason why I've been to Fukuoka. And then I also went to Beppu. And dipped into the volcanoes. Let's listen to this Nahui language again.
Меѓутоа, доколку има потреба од измолзување, односно доколку постојат пречки како што е во случајот со детето кое што имало френулум, значи кое што било предвреме родено со помала родилна тежина, може да биде и терминско со помала родилна тежина.
Yeah, that is a very confusing language. I know what you mean with the Russian-Japanese thing. It does sound more Slavic to me. Maybe he's just fucking Romanian. Because Romanian is a Roman language, but it sounds a bit Slavic usually. I guess because of influence from around them. Let's listen to it one more time.
Меѓутоа, доколку има потреба од измолзување, односно доколку постојат пречки како што е во случајот со детето кое што имало френулум, значи кој што било пред време родено со помала родилна тежина, може да биде и терминско со помала родилна тежина.
Has to be a cushion. They worship Japan in there. I think that sounds way more unique, no? Those Siberian languages sound really so absurd. I don't know. Maybe it is Yakutian, but I'm going to guess Romanian. I really don't know, though. It's really weird. It's a good sample for once, though. Macedonian, I was close. So it is an actual Slavic language. Unlike Romanian, Macedonian is a real Slavic language. I didn't know it sounded like that. And I didn't know they like frenulums so much in Macedonia. Did Alexander the Great do something weird with his dick, maybe? Maybe it was a history lesson? Makes me wonder, why does Macedonian sound so different from the other Slavic languages? Maybe Greek influence? Maybe Macedonian is Greek-influenced Slavic? I don't know. Alexander the Great spoke Greek. Yeah, unfortunate Macedon. It's not very different, to be honest.
vatataurika kuti dzichiri nyaya mbiri dzakabatanizwa vanofana kutanga vataura inzwai ambuya kana muchinzwa sekuti pakwenyaya yenyu munofana kutanga mataura kuti mwana wenyu wekutanga akaenda kupi uyezve akaendera maendero api kana kuri kuti akafa nenzira ipi vanhu vose ndizvozvo chaizvo hamwana.
This is so hard to listen to. It's probably just because he's mad. Maybe the language sounds nice if he's not mad, but holy fuck. It sounds like my Pakistani roommates when they get into arguments. It could be that. In my building, there's also 2 Pakistani guys, but I only hear them speak English. It's kind of hard to listen to, but I'll listen to it one more time.
ngavataurika kuti dzichiri nyaya mbiri dzakabatanizwa vanofana kutanga vataura inzwai ambuya kana muchinzwa sekuti pakwenyaya yenyu munofana kutanga mataura kuti mwana wenyu wekutanga akaenda kupi uyezve akaendera maendero api kana kuri kuti akafa nenzira ipi vanhu voziva kuti votangira pano ndizvozvo chaizvo hamwana.
This is so meme. At least it's a real language sample and they're not switching to English or saying 2 words. Yeah, this could be anything. When people are this mad, it kind of sounds all the same. You know, statistically, the safest bet is Papua New Guinea because this is the country with the most languages in the world, right? So statistically, this would be a smart guess. Sounds like Pakistan in the Indian border, indeed. I actually flew fucking over that twice during the conflict. I was really surprised that Emirates just flew over that shit. I was a bit scared, but it was only a short time that they flew over it. And I guess they knew what they were doing because I didn't die. But yeah, when I went to Spain, I used Emirates because it was the cheapest with a stop in Abu Dhabi. And it just went like this over the Pakistan-India border here. Literally the Kashmir stuff too, like here. You see, because that's just the fastest to Abu Dhabi, right? Abu Dhabi is here, and then it's over Kashmir. But yeah, they literally didn't care. I really used to believe Papa has more languages than Mother Russia. Well, you are mistaken. I know Russia has a shit ton of languages, but you can Google it. Maybe you're thinking about the Soviet Union, but even Soviet Union has less languages, I think. Well, maybe the Kafkas fucks the statistics and you actually overtake Papua at that point. Anyway, I have no idea what this one is, to be honest, but it did have some kind of Bantu beat to it. Not racist, by the way. You see, I was close. Zimbabwe. It is indeed a Bantu language. You see how fucking good I am at this shit? Even though he was super mad, I knew it was a Bantu language. And with the Abkhazian, I was also super close, right? I said an Indo-European language that is close to the Middle East. So for as far as you can ever guess Abkhazian, I was really, really close. And with the Macedonian, I was also not that far off, at least on the map. Maybe linguistically, well, I mean, they're both European languages, and they're both in East Europe, but I don't know. You know, Romanian is a Roman language, so I was in a different language family. But with this one, I was not even in a wrong language family. Shona. Well, now I know what Shona sounds like. I guess if you live in Zimbabwe, you are going to be this mad at the government, right? Anyway, play another game, I suppose. This is getting more fun now that it's harder. Before it was just too easy.
ঘৈণীয়েকে ভিতৰৰ পৰা সকলো শুনিছিল। সমৰ্থকৰ সংখ্যাও বহুত বেছি।
Okay, this sample is garbage. Let's go to another one.
এখন পাৰ্ল লিপিৰ অন্তৰ্গত বহু কেইটা এণ্ড ব্লক থাকিব পাৰে। এই ব্লকসমূহ ব্যাখ্যা কৰাৰ ঠিক বিপৰীত ক্ৰমে এক্সিকিউট হ'ব।
Tech support language, not racist by the way. Assamese, yeah. I don't know how you can ever tell the different South Asian languages apart unless you study them. They have a shit ton of languages, but yeah, I really have no clue how to tell them apart. Actual Zulu moment. What does it mean? Indian indeed.
Nekazaritza ingeniarien goi-mailako eskola teknikoak egungo ekonomian estrategikoa den nekazaritzako elikagaien sektoreko behar teknologikoak asetzeko gai izango diren profesionalak trebatzen ditu.
That sounded nice.
Nekazaritza ingeniarien goi-mailako eskola teknikoak egungo ekonomian estrategikoa den nekazaritzako elikagaien sektoreko behar teknologikoak asetzeko gai izango diren profesionalak trebatzen ditu.
Holy shit, this is some rap god shit. This sounds so good. They have shit on of language and said none of them worth learning. I mean, Hindi is worth learning, I would say. I guess you could argue just learn English, but you know, actually not that many people in India speak English. We just think that because when you meet people from South Asia abroad, they all do. But in India itself, not that many are fluent in English, actually. You can Google the statistics, but it's not as high as you would expect. Because abroad they're all very good at English because that's the language of education, right? But not everyone can go get educated, unfortunately. You want to talk to Hindi people? I mean, I'm not sure if such a thing exists as Hindi people, right? But I mean, it's the lingua franca, so at least in North India, I think. So it will help to talk to random, very poor people that are in the wrong caste. Feels bad, man. Most young Indians have English as the first language nowadays, brother. Not the poor ones. But we don't really meet the poor ones because we don't go to India, right? I mean, they're not necessarily rich if they live abroad, but they're not the lowest of the lowest caste, right? At least the Muslims in India don't have caste system. Don't really know how it works for them. One of my Indian friends I had in Korea was Muslim, and he said that he thinks that's one of the successes of Islam in India is that it has no castes. Source my Indian co-workers. I mean, if they say that, I can't really not believe that, right? The poor ones, you have any idea how little that narrows things down? Yeah, it's a large group, unfortunately. Extreme poverty is down like 5-fold. From what I've heard, the huge economic growth in India is basically all going to the top layer. That's what I read in the newspaper, but, you know, the newspaper I read is Dutch and left-wing. So, you know, It might be colored. It's always hard to know the truth, right, with anything. In a country where it's not only going to the top layer. North Korea, XD. Very XD. But yeah, good point. Where does it not go to the top layer? Maybe the Scandinavian countries. I mean, they do have the lowest corruption and income difference rates in the world, the Scandinavian countries, but still, we still have a top layer, right? That just always exists. Duelyst, exactly. Duelyst. That's the only fair nation in the world, the real People's Republic, where you can't vote. I'm going to refresh this. I don't want to because it sounded so nice, but I want to hear more of this. If it's just this woman who has a very nice way of speaking, or if this language is always this nice. Also, I have no clue. That's also why I'm refreshing. Now it's ugly.
Nire kasuan ez asko, dena batera lau urte eta piko, baina euskararekin 10.
Now it's ugly. That woman was a goddess. Let's go one more.
Pero luego el cura que le confesó, Alberto Oficialdegui, que era el cura de Ibero, este hombre, aparte de sacerdote, era fotógrafo y etnógrafo.
I mean, why is it just Spanish now? I'm so confused. The first fragment did not sound like Spanish at all. Is it maybe Catalan? I literally hit hombre, so I'm just gonna maybe, like, I don't know how different mainland Spanish is and like colonial Spanish XD. So maybe it sounds so nice because it was like a Spanish version from, I don't know, Colombia, and maybe it's really different. Because I've been told by Portuguese that Brazilian Portuguese is very popular in Portugal because they think it sounds better, it sounds nicer. And from what I've heard, indeed, when I hear Brazilian Portuguese, like, I can't always tell the difference, but usually when it sounds like Portuguese, but it's not ugly, it's indeed Brazilian Portuguese. And if it sounds like Portuguese, but it's ugly, then it's Portuguese. Anyway, let's guess this. Is it Catalan, maybe? Oh, Basque. I was literally there. But that was not correct. Hombre is not Basque. So yeah, now I understand why I like this language so much. So when I went to Spain only 2 weeks ago, I was literally in Basque country. But even in Basque country, it's not spoken that much. Because almost, first of all, everyone knows at least Spanish. And then only, what is it? Like 30% of the inhabitants also know Basque. And I heard hombre in the last thing. And so you don't actually hear Basque that much, unfortunately. But it's such a cool language. For people that don't know Basque, it's one of the biggest linguistic mysteries in the world. Because it's not related to anything. Linguists have just no clue what the fuck it's related to. It's just a complete mystery. So we don't even know if it's even a European language. And it has existed for a super long time. It's been said that it's the oldest linguistic community in the world. For example, the Roman Empire already had some tablet where you have Basque and Latin next to each other. And it's so weird in every sense and so beautiful, as you could hear in the first fragment, right? But here, I think in this sample, it's not actually Basque. It's just Spanish, or like we already had before, that they mix English with some other thing. But this language is so cool. I remember a few words. I learned a few Basque words while I was there. In Bilbao, I've been, and San Sebastian, and some really tiny towns that we stayed at. Where did I stay? Can I find it? It was very small, but it actually had some history. It's also fucking beautiful. Basque country is so beautiful. And they have amazing food. They have a completely different kitchen from the rest of Spain. And the nature is completely different from the rest of Spain too, because most of Spain is pretty ugly, just desert. Well, not a real desert, but like fake desert, just arid, depressing shrub stuff. But this area is so fucking green, and there's a lot of rain. It's so green, it's so beautiful. And if I would ever get into real visa problems in Korea, I would actually consider moving here, unironically. But I would need to learn Spanish. Because seriously, with sadly, you can't live here with just Basque nationalists do want it to be that way. It's also super left-wing. There was so much Antifa stickers and pro-Palestinian stuff and pro-communist stuff even. I've never seen that in other places in Europe. There's like a lot of pro-communist graffiti. It's like super left-wing place, even though it's rich. Well, maybe I shouldn't say even though. That doesn't really make sense. It's also one of the richest provinces in Spain together with Catalonia. Press the button. Yes. What is the next language?
I tak ogólnie na podsumowanie, że aby dobrze chodziło do prawidłowego funkcjonowania przewodu pokarmowego, do prawidłowego trawienia, wchłaniania, potrzebne są wszystkie te organy.
This is a fucking telephone. I can't hear this. Oh yeah, I forgot to say the words I learned in Basque. Eskeri casco is thank you. And agur. That is hello. Sounds so aggressive, right? Agur. Such a cool language. Anyway, next sample.
Bardzo ładnie, ale reszta jak widzicie, czarny grill, duży znaczek, też
czarny
znaczek
grill,
RS,
black
żeby ci,
grill.
co lecą.
Czarny is black in Polish, I remember that. But, you know, it could be another Slavic language that is near it, like Slovak or Czech. Czarny grill, black grill. Okay, let's listen to one more sample.
Mam nadzieję, że odzyskam swój depozyt. Jak nie, to wam o tym opowiem, pewnie gdzieś się pojawi na dole ekranu. Ale jak na razie jest
Did he say
spoko.
pierdole?
Z ręką na sercu polecić Rent Hub.
Did he say pierdole? Because then it's definitely Polish.
Mam nadzieję, że odzyskam swój depozyt. Jak nie, to wam o tym opowiem, pewnie gdzieś się pojawi na dole ekranu. Ale jak na razie jest spoko. Mogę z ręką na sercu polecić.
Yeah, okay, it's Polish. Spoko. Spoko. Yeah. I just, you know, I've already mentioned this earlier, that I had a Polish ex, right, when I was 16 to 18 years old. That was my first serious relationship. And you pick stuff up. I've been in Poland a lot during those 2 years. And spoko, pierdole, those things will forever stay in my mind. Actually, I still sometimes randomly use kurwa, and it's not even a decision. I just naturally use kurva sometimes. It's not common, but yeah, sometimes that's just the correct word that just comes out of my soul very deeply. Sometimes kurva is just the appropriate word for the situation. A Japanese student in church I go to has a free Palestine sticker, and this is so cringe. Every time I hear highway noise in the background, it's immediately Slavic. and shit recording quality. You go to a church? Why do you go to a church? What do you do there? Isn't that like super boring? I've been to churches sometimes. It's like the most boring shit ever. And why is it cringe? Like, I also don't do that kind of stuff. I never do those kind of stickers or activist things on the outside, you know. But on the inside, I'm also like, you know, Israel is a bit Nazi for a bunch of Jews together. They're a little bit Nazi for a bunch of people that have been genocided by Nazis. It's so funny to watch Japanese Baptists read the Bible. Hilarious shit. Well, first of all, because he's in a Christian church. But you say, in a church I go to. I was asking why you go there, not why he goes there. It's so fun to watch Japanese Baptists read the Bible. Hilarious shit. You just go there for comedy. That's such a Mazer thing to do. I go to church for comedy. But it actually does sound very funny. I kind of know what you mean, because, you know, there are a lot of crazy Christians in Korea. And then to hear them use those Hebrew words that then go to English and then to Korean, it's a hilarious mix of garbage. It's cringe because he's in a Christian church. Not because of the Free Palestine thing, you mean? But because of the church? I mean, you literally go there yourself. I guess for less cringe reasons, you go there for comedy. Next.
مامدوف علی خان حالا دوستان عزیز بیشتر از همه حسابگزار مبلغزار از حساب درآمدهای خودشان
Next. It really helps to listen to
نمیدونم دوجدی یا تریجدی ولی حاجی هستی زیارت کردی حاجی امامعلی شدی شبها به نوبت به نبرهایت که عددشان بشمار است اسلام بیاموز تا در حقت دعا کنند عمرت هم به آخر رسیده ایستاده است سوال و جواب کن ربت کیست
Sounds like an angry Arab, so maybe it's Hebrew. Let's just because of what I just said about Israel, let's say it's Hebrew, because it would be funny if it's true. Oh, it's Tajik. Sorry, that's not even Semitic. It's not even Semitic. Tajik is related to Farsi. So yeah, it's related to Persian. Free Palestine is cringe in a church. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense because yeah, the whole religion promises that to the Jews. Like if you're a Christian and you're Free Palestine, then maybe you should choose another religion, which I support. There are a lot cooler religions than Christianity. Sir, when something sounds agree about Muslims. Yeah, it did sound a bit Slavic to me too, but because of the music in the second fragment, this that kind of Middle Eastern twang, I was then like maybe it's Semitic, but no, it's actually in a European, but still kind of Middle Eastern, right? Kind of Farsi.
ตลอดประวัติศาสตร์ญี่ปุ่นพระนักรบกับวัดพุทธมีบทบาทสำคัญในการศึก
Okay, that sounded like an intro of a horror documentary. You know those scare documentaries that the Americans like to make that don't inform at all, but that just scare you? No information, just 1 hour of saying the same shit over and over again. It sounds like that kind of documentary.
ตลอดประวัติศาสตร์ญี่ปุ่นพระนักรบกับวัดพุทธมีบทบาทสำคัญในการศึก
I'm a bit confused because it sounds Austronesian, but it also sounds South Asian, and it also sounds Kipun. Where have I heard that before? Kipun. That sounds so familiar. Let's do another fragment.
ที่เราต้องเรียนรู้เพราะฉะนั้นในขณะที่เราเรียนรู้พลังดวงอาทิตย์ดวงจันทร์คือตื่นแต่เช้าเข้านอนหัวค่ำ2อันนี้คือเรื่องใหญ่ที่สุดนะคะแล้วตามด้วยดื่มน้ำทุกชั่วโมงตั้งแต่ตี3
I think it's some Chinese language that's not Mandarin.
โปรดรอในแถวสักครู่
สะพานแขวนกวัดแกว่งไปตามแรงพายุ
คุณผู้ชายภรรยาคุณผู้หญิงนางสาว
It's confusing because it definitely sounds both Austronesian and like a tonal language of Southeast Asia, but they usually sound completely different. The Austronesian languages and the languages from around here, they usually sound completely different. Maybe it's like Malay spoken by Chinese people. They have a lot of Chinese people there. Let's do one more. Oh, I can't.
โปรดรอในแถวสักครู่
สะพานแขวนกวัดแกว่งไปตามแรงพายุ
คุณผู้ชายภรรยาคุณผู้หญิงนางสาว
Yeah, this one is tough. I feel like I would recognize it if it's actually an Austronesian language. Because they have a very typical sound, very beautiful. And this is not as beautiful to me. I've never heard an Austronesian language that doesn't sound good. So I'm gonna guess it's some kind of Chinese minority language, but it could also be Lao or Cambodian or something. Thai, okay. If they just had said ha, ha, ha only once, I would have known it. Why didn't they say ha? They literally only say ha in Thai. That's the only word they use. So why didn't they use it in 3 pieces? Kelvin was right. Click Malay as a cop-out. Lau fucking knew it. Yes, Kelvin was right. Nice. I would have recognized it if they just had used ga just once. And like I said, they normally use it in every fucking sentence. I had a Thai co-worker when I worked in Korea, and it was so annoying to sit next to her because it was literally 8 hours of ga, 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 ga. It was actually annoying. She was a really nice person, by the way. I'm not shit-talking her, but holy shit, that language is annoying to sit next to for 8 hours. And some languages don't have that at all. Like I said, the Indonesian language, I also had an Indonesian co-worker, and I loved hearing about Korea Selatan, South Korea. Next.
170 мең йылы кейем, 360 вагон ылау ебәрелә. Башкортстан фашист оккупациясыннан зыян күргән Украинаның Ворошилов өлкәһе, Рәсәйнең Ростов, Курск, Смоленск, Воронеж өлкәләре халкына.
Okay, we're getting political in here. Literally a Ukrainian war report. Okay. Nahui, I guess. Next sample.
Врач караһын. Ахыры, шул осраклыктарҙы беҙ яҙмыш тип атайбыҙ.
Why does it sound completely different now? That's confusing.
Бәхәстәрдә туа күп кенә аңлашылмаган урындары бар. Күп осракта менә был мөлкәт ничек итеп һатылганы, кайда һатылганы, кемгә һатылганы бөтенләй асык түгел.
It doesn't sound completely Slavic to me. Who would call Ukraine fascists besides Putin? Maybe it's some random Kafka's language. Yeah, it could be one of the million Kafka's languages. Because it sounded Slavic in the first sample, and in the second sample too, in the last one not so much. I'm very confused. Moldova, but that's basically Romanian. It didn't sound Latin, right? I'm gonna guess it's some kind of... Wait, let's listen one more time to this one.
Бәхәстәрдә туа күп кенә аңлашылмаган урындары бар. Күп осракта менә был мөлкәт ничек итеп һатылганы, кайда һатылганы, кемгә һатылганы бөтенләй асык түгел.
Is it maybe Kalmyk? No. Doesn't sound Asian enough, right? I could also guess Russia, because indeed there are a lot of languages. Could be Baltic. I don't really know what Lithuanian and Latvian sound like, actually. But that's a good guess. Yeah, I really don't know what they sound like. I've never heard people speak this. I know what Estonian sounds like, because I used to be really into Finnish, and then you're kind of forced to look that up too. I learned Finnish when I was 14. I barely remember anything, but I still remember something like ruokailuvälineet. It's cutlery. I don't know why I remember that word, because it's a pretty difficult word, and it's also not very useful. But I remember ruokailuvälineet, and of course perkele satanan. Everyone knows that, right? Perkele. Ooh, that was really loud, but it's a really nice language. I really like Finnish. No way that is Eesti. That is not Eesti. It doesn't sound like Finnish at all. Estonian is not Baltic at all, Macer. It's like influenced a bit by the Baltic languages, but in the end it's Finno-Ugric. It's related to Finnish. It's not Baltic. You'll recognize it, I think, if you hear Estonian. At least if you know what Finnish sounds like. They sound the same to me because, well, you know, I'm not educated in these languages enough. I'm not saying it's Estonian. Yeah, I do think you have a good guess with a Baltic language, so I'm gonna guess Latvian. I have no idea what that sounds like, Latvian, but it's a good guess, I think. Bashkir. I told you I should have clicked Russia. I told you I should have clicked that. I listened to Macer and I lost. Where is Bashkir exactly? I heard about this language before. Isn't it like close to Kazan. I know it's not inside the Tatarstan Republic, but Bashkiria. Where can I find it? Samara. Oh, here. Or no, this is maybe different. Bashkortostan. That sounds a little bit different. It's almost Bashkir, but I thought you got rid of those. Nice. I thought so too. Papa Stalin. Next language.
She was able to stand tall and proudly walk down the street being who she is, which sort of sent a great message to we, the younger ones.
Holy shit, it was another bait again. It was 80% English, 20% something else. Fuck you. Fuck you.
I tāraitia mai ai, I mokoia mai ai e rātou ki o tātou ngākau, ne? Ko tō mātou whakapono rā hoki, kei roto I te ngākau o ngā Māori katoa te kākano o te reo e takoto ana. Koe rā tō mātou whakapono, ne?
Oh, Bashkirikistan is the same. Okay, yeah, then I was correct. You see, I said, wasn't it next to Kazan? I'm so impressed I remember this because it's a long time that I learned about Russian republics. I'm happy I do have a memory sometimes. Anyway, this started to shift a bit towards the Polynesian. I mean, the first sample was useless, right? It was 80% English and then 2 words in a different language. I was definitely going to select United Kingdom. Thankfully, I listened to the end because this game does this all the fucking time. It's really stupid. Let's listen to this one more time.
I tāraitia mai ai, I mokoia mai ai e rātou ki o tātou ngākau, ne? Ko tō mātou whakapono rā hoki, kei roto I te ngākau o ngā Māori katoa te kākano o te reo e takoto ana. Koe rā tō mātou whakapono, ne?
It sounds nice. That's also why I'm thinking about the Polynesian language. They sound, all the Austronesian one, like I said, right? The Austronesian languages all sound great. And the Polynesian languages are also Austronesian languages. So, but let's do one more sample because why not?
Tēnā koutou, kei te mahuru Māori tonu tātou, nā kona e rere atu ana nā kupu.
Okay, I heard Maori, so I'm gonna do New Zealand. I'm pretty sure he literally said Maori. Hey, get fucked! Would you guys get this? Would you be able to guess Maori? This is how good I am at recognizing languages. I don't know where I picked up this skill, honestly. Because I didn't expect myself to be decent at this game because it is listening. If I can look at languages, it's a lot easier. But listening, I don't know what most languages sound like. But still with the art of deduction and seduction and impregnation, I can do it. Maori, get fucked. Paging Smarty right now? Yes, let her know that I'm the Smarty. She's just a secondary Smarty.
Хоть кемете, хоть и ляду, на той дива спринь. Истя мазы эрзянкель, эзин марси костояк. Течиванды сыргилеесь, туи чады ведь.
It's definitely a language in the Turkic family, something Central Asian or Turkish itself. So let's go to the next sample. Maybe it will help us tone it down, fin it out, however you say that.
Kniazin Blankso, Kuvaka, Yaxtide Orshamo, Plashtianzo, Sihan, Tsitnit, Meshtenze Keles.
No, it's quite different again. Keles. No, that's definitely a very Turkish ending, that Keles.
Зярдояк аорших валдопанар. Карксонтень поводезельт налкундозо денурика пеелеза.
For some reason, it sounds like it's a bit influenced by Russian, so it's probably some ex-Soviet Turkic language. But nobody actually speaks Kazakh, right? Kyrgyz, Uzbek, Turkmen. It's probably safer to just guess Turkish, but it's probably... No, they're showing a lot of tiny languages, right? We had fucking Abkhaz, so it could be anything. If it can be Abkhaz with 100,000 speakers, it can be anything. A lot of people speak Kazakh, then maybe I will guess that. Because yeah, exactly. I also thought it sounded like Soviet Turkic. That's why I was looking at this area, but I have no clue if it's Kyrgyz, Uzbek, Kazakh, or Turkmen. It could maybe even be Tuvan, but I think that sounds more like Mongolian. Or fucking Kakas. Buryat. Maybe it's Buryat. But I think it's a bit too Turkish to be that deep into Siberia. So I'm just gonna guess Kazakhstan. For Kazakh. Erja, spoken in Russia. I have never heard about this language before. Do you know this language, Macer? But it is indeed Soviet Turkic, right? Because it's some random language nobody ever heard of before. Go to Kyrgyz or no balls? Well, Kazakhstan is it's a big country and Borat, so I had to choose it. So, what is Erja? Can you tell me this, Macer, or is this also news to you? Yeah, there's a lot of these minority languages in Russia that all sound pretty cool. Next.
Per suenter al jeu era survegniu pata heflas. Ina controlla della batteria il atun preserva da nauseas surprises.
Sounds like retarded Portuguese. Next sample, it's not really clear.
Il mardis vergau ein ils baghetgs vegni surdai ufficialmein. E fats le greivels ein stai de registra.
Okay, very confused. Is this maybe what Albanian sounds like?
Sco moderatura ter il radio grigia va quei bein. Per el ha il cor da dunna saraietta cantau il meier.
This is completely mysterious. I'm gonna guess Albanian. Because it's weird. Oh! I actually know about this language, but this has even less speakers than fucking Abkhaz. So, most people know, right, that Swiss has Italian, German, and French. Well, there's also this language. That's the fourth. They have 4 official languages. This is the closest thing you have to a Swiss language. And now I understand why it sounds like retarded Portuguese. Because it's indeed a European language that is related to Latin, that comes from Latin in the end. That's why it's called Romansh, because it comes from the Romans. But yeah, it's a weird language that nobody speaks. It's like, I don't know, 50,000 people? We can Google it. Romansh speakers. Here, fucking 40,000 people. I grew up in a city of 50,000 people. That's not even a city in most countries, but in the Netherlands, that's a city. My shitty little town has more people than that people speak this language. But, well, at least it makes the game hard, I guess. That's nice. It's a Finno-Ugric language, Erja. Mordvin language. Cool. Erja women. Okay, I have to click that. You piqued my interest, Macer. I'm gonna show it to the world on stream as well. Oh. I'm disappointed. Thanks for the bait. I mean, if they were not 60 years old, then it would probably not be bad, right? Nice bait. Continue. I was really close, right, with retarded Portuguese. It's literally retarded Portuguese. It's some Roman offshoot that nobody speaks.
Син китап бүләк ит. Һич бетерме бу алдауларың. Бәйрәм намазыннан соң корбан чалына.
Babushka delivery. I wish that was a real company, man. Babushka escort service. There must be such a thing, right? Surely. Anyway, I wasn't really paying attention because of the babushka delivery. That was just really funny to me.
Син китап бүләк ит. Һич бетерме бу алдауларың. Бәйрәм намазыннан соң корбан шалына.
Why does every language that I don't understand sound like it's from the Middle East ex-Soviet area? Like this area, when you don't know a language, it always sounds like this area for some reason. That's what I've noticed playing this game. Next sample.
Мин каршы түгел. Яфракларның җиргә очкан чагы. Ләкин бу мөмкин түгел.
He's mumbling, man. Fucking upcast mumble rap.
Умырзая сула моңаеп. Кыз моны да белә. Бер атнадан бу да ак байталга атланып чыгып китә.
He said Biet.
Умырзая сула моңаеп. Кыз моны да белә.
Biet.
Бер атнадан бу да ак байталга атланып чыгып китә.
Yeah, I have no clue. Like I said, it's one of those languages that sounds like it's from this area. One more time.
Умырзая сула моңаеп. Кыз моны да белә. Бер атнадан бу да ак байталга атланып чыгып китә.
It also sounds like some kind of Soviet Turkic. And, you know, I heard someone washing the dishes with low audio quality, so must be Russia. Yay! You see? Soviet Russian, Tatar. I knew it. Now, girls from Tatarstan are really hot, just so you know, chat. Maester, did you recognize this? Those languages sound like you take Slavic phonetics and just make bullshit words. Yeah, exactly. That's why they always, sound like in that area. Tatar sounded less beautiful than expected because of the girls. Oh, they have a score. Latvia is just straight up incorrect, but Erja and Kazakhstan is close enough, and Albania is also close enough to Romansh. Interesting. Guess because it's both Indo-European family.
아니 카톨릭날데 대회 강가 지슈지는 카톨릭나기 산에기 신진디 퍼주먼스니도 코라이나 다르게서 있는 벨gium자 니도 배우고치.
Again, it sounds like it's some Russian minority language. Maybe Mace was right. Maybe Papua New Guinea is, you know, a lie made up by the deep state. Maybe they speak only one language in there. I wasn't talking about Erja. I was talking about Albanian and Romansh because it said it was close. Then I was like, oh, they're both Indo-European. Next sample.
나서 토마딜라 아니 보시나 니차가 아니 마망 참말로라 부르 참말로라 아니 참지다시딜라스리요 아니 디린타.
This guy sounds like a rapist that's like whispering in your ear, like the kind of rapist that wants to give you a good time. You know what I mean? I hope you don't know what I mean, actually. I actually really hope you don't know what I mean. But it sounds like, yeah, the kind of rapist that cares about if you come or not. North Korea, nice meme. Thanks for the follow. Topor. That's also a nice language name. That's probably my first follow in 1.5 years. So, welcome to the Quack Pack, as a great Duelyst player once said. Do you guys remember that guy? Why did he suddenly pop up in my mind? Why did he suddenly pop up in my mind? The fucking DuckTales Duelyst guy. When in doubt, just click Russia. Yeah, that has worked out a few times already. I'm gonna do it again, because this again sounds like some Soviet Turkic. What? That's what Tibetan sounds like? That is not what I expected at all. Now I want to listen to more Tibetan. That's really not what I expected it to sound like. You know, I also have no clue what it sounds like. Now I do, I suppose. But that was very abstract. Next.
私は旅行のお土産を8つ買わなければなりません。
Yes, yes, we know enough. Okay, easy.
Kai aš naudoju, jeigu kažkur reikia kažką stebėti iš toliau, mano ginklo efektyvumas yra daug didesnis nei paprastų šaulių. Aš džiaugiuosi, kad aš tą darau.
Wow, this sample is really dreamy. I like the sample. The language is neutral to me. But the sample sounds like I'm watching some indie film that tries really hard to be deep, you know? And I like that feeling.
Kai aš naudoju, jeigu kažkur reikia kažką stebėti iš toliau, mano ginklo efektyvumas yra daug didesnis nei paprastų šaulių. Aš džiaugiuosi, kad aš tą darau.
I really like this sample. I'll listen to it one more time just for fun and then go to the next one because I have no clue.
Kai aš naudoju, jeigu kažkur reikia kažką stebėti iš toliau, mano ginklo efektyvumas yra daug didesnis nei paprastų šaulių. Aš džiaugiuosi, kad aš tą darau.
Just click Russia. Yeah, this is probably Russia, but I want to hear more because this sounded really nice. But I think it's because of the sample. How can I go from such a nice sample to something I just can't listen to? I'm literally not gonna finish listening that one. That's ear rape. That was ear rape sample. Next.
Sekėsi ordino broliams kariauti ir pagonis krikštyti. 30 metų te prireikė.
Okay, that sounded like you are calling customer service and they're never picking up. That's what that sounded like. And it sounded like that was happening in some random tiny republic in Russia. Like Mesa already suggested. What? They say close. I mean, they're both in the European, I guess. But I didn't know this is what Baltic sounds like. I mentioned that before, right? That I don't really know what Lithuanian and Latvian sound like at all. Well, now we know. This actually makes sense.
Жидекот жер астына кірсе дә эзләп табар. Бүгенге көндә профессионал язучы әдәби иҗат эше белән генә шөгыльләнә.
Okay, that doesn't tell me anything.
Ул тискәре мәгълүмат. Килешәм сезнең белән бер нәрсәдә, әлбәттә, менә миңа калса, минем фикеремчә,
балалар белән бергә алга атларга кирәк.
6 яшькә кадәр балага телефон бирүдә мин каршы.
It's more Russia, man. It's just everything Russia.
Мин терелер идем дә, син үзең авыру. Вәли моны күргәч, куанышы эченә сыймый.
They also all sound depressed. All these samples sound depressed, or they're fighting, or they're doing the dishes, or they're on the road. Yeah, it's Tatar again. We just had Tatar already. That's not nice. We literally had that like 10 things ago. Well, everything is Russia.
Щиро дякуємо за вашу емпатію.
It's Russian again.
Це взагалі було неважко зробити. Поговоримо тільки про найвідоміші хибні думки.
I'm not even gonna finish listening this or go to other samples. It's Russia again. Yeah, you see, it's Russian. It is literally Russian. Right? Right? Putin, please promote me. Spoken in Transnistria. No, I didn't see that before, that they make a little note. But they made a note that it was Transnistrian Ukrainian. Transnistria. For people that don't know. I can't look at the map now. But Transnistria is in Moldova. It's a tiny little strip on the border between Moldova and Ukraine. And it's also one of these meme republics that's not recognized by anyone except Russia. And it kind of wants to... It's a very pro-Russian place. And it would like to be independent. And it kind of is. Moldovan government doesn't really have authority there. And so on and so on. It's just political bullshit. Transnistria the region, not Transnistria the country, I think. Yeah, of course, because almost nobody recognizes it as a country. Or do you mean there's literally... I mean, you have to keep in mind, Macer, my books are different from your books, right? Because of the whole Cold War thing. In Dutch books, Transnistria does not exist. It's not a country. So if it's a country, but also a region somewhere else, I'm unaware, because my books are different. Transnistria, the region, is bigger than the country. It's kind of like, Israel and Greater Israel, winky face. Play another game, I guess. It's actually fun now that it's really difficult, because it can be anything. It can even be fucking a Romansh with 40,000 speakers.
Výroba tanku Panzer II byla zahájena v roce 19...
I'm tired of Russia, man. Oh, okay. I was actually off, I think. I think that's not really accurate, but whatever, it's Slavic. It might be hard to believe, but I feel like I've heard this before. Not this sample, but this language. And it's one of these really tiny native languages. I don't know why I feel like I've heard this before. This is really funny. It's so repetitive. So it could be one of the 1 million country languages in the Amazon, but it could also be fucking Inuit. So I'm gonna do some more samples. It also sounds very funny, so it's fun to have more samples.
Hello, my kako, Owawi Kaika Blackburn, Nomoyu Mayo. Hola, Keoni Souza, originally from Liliha.
What? This was completely different. It was just English and alright, black. Yeah. Jokes you, it's Russia again. Yeah. Probably Alaska, right? Last sample.
A hiki ke ho'ololi I nā koho o ka polokalamu. I nā komi wau ma kekahi waihana.
Because they spoke English in the second sample, guessing that it's some Canadian or American native language does make sense. But the Amazonian languages are extremely diverse, right? They're not even all related. But I've heard, I really like watching documentaries about tribes, and I feel like I've heard a language like that was in the Amazon. So it's just a guess. I'm really not sure, but it's definitely some language that is barely surviving and that has been colonized in a very genocidal way. So I'm gonna guess Brazil. What? In the daily challenge, I recognize this immediately. I mean, I'm kind of right? It's a native language that has been colonized suicidally. And yes, Hawaiian also has that kind of repetitiveness, but there were not that many vowels, right? Because I always recognize Hawaiian very easily from the insane amount of vowels. But this was, I don't know, it sounds cool. But also the second sample, like I said, it made more sense to guess Canada or United States because they only spoke English in the second sample. And then I guess Hawaii, I should have guessed that. I recognized it in the daily challenge immediately, but whatever. Next.
Църквата е почната 2003 година.
Also, I just want to let you guys know, I did say, I feel like I've already heard this before, and I don't know why. Well, now we know why, because I literally just heard it.
Със само допринос на местање овдека, ово е најголем инвеститор бие за цркву.
Oh, you heard Aloha? I didn't hear that. That would have been a very easy giveaway. I didn't hear any non-English in the second sample. Maybe you heard it there. I just thought I was only hearing English. Back to East Europe, brother. Yeah, probably. We had one detour to the Americas.
Како во 2 години агенцијата за филм ви скратичи нам 2 милиони денари од.
Yeah, we're just gonna guess Russia again because it's statistically the most likely. It's probably not Russia this time though. It sounds like it's actual this area, not Russia, Slavic. Is that correct? Yes, it's Macedonian again. Can you stop repeating? We already had Tatar and Macedonian twice now. So this was the Japanese Slavic. Anyway.
ਫਿਰ ਇਹਦੇ ਤੋਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਚੱਲੋ ਜੀ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਸੁਣੀ ਜਾਇਓ ਤੇ ਸਮਝਣ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਿਓ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮੈਂ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੈਂ ਨੁਕਤਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਂਝਾ ਕਰਨ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਵਾ ਫਿਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ
Interesting. Could be South Asia.
ਤੇ ਮੇਰੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਹੈ ਜੋ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਟੇਜ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਨਿਭਾਉਣਗੇ
Okay, it's too obvious now. India. Hello, can you click? Yeah, it's so slow when you click a country. Punjabi. one of many languages I don't know.
Ülkümeýändir öýdülýän kanunlaryň bir çägi bardy. Ýaşaýyş ömründen ýaňa ýüpüň uju görünmeýän bolsa.
Okay.
Biriniň ýazan zadyny okumazyny öňürti 12 ýazanyň kimdigini seredýäris.
Emma onu maňa ýatladan, ýazmaga mejbur eden bir waka boldy.
They sound depressed again, so could be Soviet Turkic again.
Biriniň ýazan zadyny okumazyny öňürti 12
Oh wait,
ýazanyň
that's
kimdigini seredýäris.
not replay, not new
Bu
sample.
pikir mämede kim yaramady? Ýoksa ondan bäri 50 ýyl geçen kirläpdir.
Lepter. It does sound like Turkic family again. So Russia it is. Turkmen, there you go. Soviet Turkic again. Why is everything Soviet Turkic?
Eivät kaikki olleet sentään hylänneet meitä.
Okay, easy Finland. It might be Estonia, but... Okay. Are you impressed, chat? I knew that in 1 second. Actual speedrun. I'm much faster at this game than Duelyst sometimes. Immediate finish.
הפליטים בסודאן נמצאו בעיקר בעיר הגדולה גדארף. לאחר תקופה סוערת, הרי מה שנשאר אינו אלא פרשת זיכרונות.
This sounds very Chad. Maybe because Soviet Union was like 16% of the world. Yeah. That does help, right? It's actually insane how big that shit was. I mean, Russia's still fucking huge, obviously, but with all of this garbage, holy fuck. And then you also had those satellite states like Mongolia on top of that.
לישיבת המליאה באו גם עשרות עולים חדשים. היא ממשיכה להתנגד להחזרת המענקים בפריפריה.
He said imam and then some random name. It doesn't sound that Arabic to me, so maybe something else Semitic? I'm not sure.
וגם ההוא יצא 400 בזווית, בוא ננחש, זה יצא בזווית 30. מינוס 120.
מינוס 150. יש את הפתרון פה.
I have really no clue, but I felt like I heard the word imam, which can be a huge part of the world. There's a lot of Muslims. It doesn't sound like Arabic to me, but I don't know. They probably have some minority Semitic languages across the Middle East, right? Hebrew, there you go. Minority Arab language, indeed. XD. Why did they say imam? I guess they were trying to kick the imam out of the town. That's what they were talking about. That makes sense.
د کندهار شین ولسوالي کلی هیکلزی د یرغلګرو په مقابل کې سخت مقاومت وکړ.
Nope, no clue.
دوی په ورته وخت کې روانه پښتون وژنه د اندېښنې وړ وبلله او ګواښ یې وکړ که یې غوښتنه ونه منل شي په اړه به یې قومي قیام راپورته کړي. شیرین درمان، میلمه راډیو، خوست.
Yeah, now it starts to sound like South Asia, but it's quite unusual. It even had this sound. That's not really a sound they usually do, right, in South Asia? I don't think so. Let's listen one more.
دوی په ورته وخت
ماشوم په پارک کې پکنیک لري. هر سړی په خپل کار نه پوهیږي مګر اختیار.
Okay, it's definitely something South Asian. Which one though? Pushto. Ah, okay, it's not India but Afghanistan. That's why it had this sound, because Afghanistan, some of the languages there are related to Farsi, which are Persian again. So, you know, it's Indo-European, and that's why it sounds like the South Asian languages, but it can also have this sound, like in Farsi. Makes sense. Some random
Vývoj Fallen Lords stál približne $2 milióny. Táto suma išla ako na vývoj, tak na marketing. Dovtedy to bola ich najnákladnejšia hra, preto Bungie očakávala, že bude úspešná a vráti im vložené peniaze.
This is like one of those company worker training videos. How to do marketing 101, and everyone is just sitting in that office room being depressed, watching some fucking videotape from 1997 when it's already 2020, you know? That's what it sounds like. Yeah, just press Russia indeed. He also sounded depressed, so all these languages sound depressed. Oh, Slovak, makes sense. It's like a worse Czech, so obviously you're depressed when you're a bad version of Czech.
Chiroyli, eng zo'r davrlardan biri.
Yurtimizda.
Dunyoda ham va alohida yurtimizda ham. O'sha yurtimizda ham bir buyuk kelajak qurilyapti hozir. Albatta tarix yozilyapti. Hozirgi kunda misol uchun
Nope.
Yillar davomida o'qib, ko'rib, eshitib, tajriba orttiriladi.
Bolalarga olib chiqing, qo'shni. Biram suyuntirdingiz meni.
Okay, I guess we can stop wasting our time and just click Russia again. Uzbek, there we go. Stop it with this Soviet shit, man. There's actually a Soviet psyop this game.
На жаль, даследчыкі вельмі часта ствараюць у чытачоў і...
Okay, stop wasting time. Belarusian, there you go. Can you hear it immediately, Maester? If it's Belarusian, is it like very obvious, or do you need to actually learn it to recognize it? Like, do you hear the difference between Belarusian and Ukrainian, for example? Is that obvious? I don't really know how close these three languages are.
મગફળી વાવેતર વિસ્તાર લગભગ એ જ રહ્યો છે, ઉત્પાદન ઘટીને 50% થઈ.
We can also stop wasting our time here and just click India. Gujarati. Immediately tell it's not Russian, and the moment I start laughing, it's clear it's Belarus. Actual potato Russian.
वाहन असतील किती सुसाट चालतात मुलं. आता बघितली ते बहुतेक शाळा कॉलेज काहीतरी आहे वाटतं इथं.
And India again. This game is literally just Soviet India, the game. Marathi.
A keď nemáme na trhu likviditu, tak pre tie veľryby je oveľa ľahšie manipulovať s tou cenou. Čiže ja som momentálne stále bullish.
Sounds Slavic.
Čiže jeden linček si dáme, pozrieme sa do košíku. No a znovu opäť metóda 9.
Okay, more Soviet propaganda. Slovak. We just fucking had that. Can you stop repeating the same language so close to each other? We literally just had that.
Tok jazyk, krótko myślenie. Ale wiesz, constant problem?
Constant problem.
Kinda robię słabo.
Constant problems must be Russia.
Ne morem uganiti. To sta dve različni vprašanji.
Yeah, another depressed Soviet citizen. Slovenian. Okay. At least it's different this time. It's not Slovak.
Трубаны қойылғанмен бізге әлі газ келген жоқ. Ешқандай бүйтіп мұны алыңдар, үйтіңдер, бүйтіңдер деген ешқандай газдың ешқандай несі жоқ.
Okay, so that's more Turkic Soviet or something Iranian. Something related to Farsi.
рухани байланыс. Жаңа орталық демекші, жаңа төрт ел деп отырмыз ғой. Оңтүстік Корея, ақш, Германия және Англияда болды. Осының ішінде Сеул мен Берлинде орталық ашылған екен.
I mean, they were talking about Germans and Anglos, and it's Turkic, so must be Russia again. Yep, Kazakh. If they talk about England and Germany in a Turkic language, obviously it's going to be Russia.
Billi kull xahar jagħmlu gwerra qaddisa kontra l-kaċċaturi mhux se jirbħu. Ninsab kuntent bil-prestazzjoni tal-plejers kollha.
Players? Random English word.
Talab lil dawk li jemmnu biex jibqgħu jitolbu għal ġid tal-Knisja.
This one is actually hard.
Min minnhom jitkellem jispiċċa arrestat. Marilyn Aġuż kienet il-protagonista prinċipali fl-aħħar rebħa kontra Luxol.
Very confusing. I heard some Roman words like principali, but it also sounds kind of Slavic again, or So I think I'm gonna guess Romanian because it sounded Slavic with Roman words. Maltese. That's not. Why does it say that that's close? Maltese is a Semitic language. It's closer to Arabic and Hebrew than anything European. Yeah, this is an interesting language. They have such weird place names. That's why I mentioned before that this game would be so much easier if I could not listen but read. Because look at these place names in Malta. There's like a place called Marsak's or something. Here, Boer Marat, very Arabic sounding, right? Vardia, Bitnia, Zebiech. Because yeah, it's literally a Semitic language. So I don't know why it said Romanian is close enough, right? It said that it was it was yellow. It was not green. It was not correct, but it was also not red. But it's actually very far. Here, there you go, Marsak's Lock. You see? Marsak's Lock. If I can read the language instead of listening, I would have known this because this is so weird. It's a specific kind of weird that just sticks. Birkirkara, it's... I wonder if it comes from Phoenician or something. I wouldn't be surprised if Maltese is just some weird development of some old Phoenician language. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, most Semitic languages are, right?
Dziękuję panu, doktorze.
Dziękuję?
Zimna woda była codziennym potwierdzeniem jej chcę.
It sounded like Portuguese and Polish together.
Heavy Rain to jedna z bardziej poruszających produkcji, która dotyka tematyki utraty
I heard bardziej, that's like very in Polish, so I'm gonna guess Polish. We already had Polish, but we've already saw a lot of repetition, right? So, yep, correct, 100%. Yeah. I've noticed that the languages that I have 1% correct are languages I've actually
Vad är det för löften ni pratar om?
Not surprising.
Det är tillgång och efterfrågan. Gravitationens acceleration är en sjättedel av jordens.
No clue. Exciting.
Jag tänker inte riskera livet för några jävla smycken och gamla bärbara datorer.
Berber?
Därför att de är köttätare.
It doesn't sound like Berber, but he said Berber. For people that don't know, that there are people in North Africa, like the natives of North Africa, because the Arabs came later. I don't know what Berber sounds like, to be fair. I don't think it's Semitic, is it? Is Berber Semitic? Probably not, because, like I said, Berbers are the natives of North Africa, not the Arabs, not the Semites, right? So yeah, maybe this is just what Berber sounds like. Let's do one more.
Vilken tur att du är god vän med en sån. Hon ska tala om mammor i karriären. Jag gjorde inte det.
Really no clue. Has it been a single African language? Good question. Literally one. It was Shona in Zimbabwe. And it was... I felt like the whole chat had to applaud me because I guessed Congo. And it was a very difficult sample because I didn't know yet you can listen to multiple samples. So I listened to only one. And it was someone extremely mad. So it was really hard to hear anything of the language because he was speaking extremely fast and extremely mad. And yeah, it was Shona from Zimbabwe. But it was like, I feel like I hear something Bantu in there, and I was correct. Well, I'm actually not 1% sure if Shona is a Bantu language, but I'm pretty sure everything in Central Africa is Bantu, right? Except when you go to the east or too much south, because yeah, it's more of a central thing, right? So yeah, there was Shona, and that's it. But this might be Berber. I have no idea, but that's what I'm gonna guess. I heard the word Berber, so... What?! That is... What?! Okay. The internet right-wingers were right. It is Swedistan. Sweden is no longer Sweden. The right-wing internet activists are actually correct. Sweden is no longer Sweden, it's Swedistan. I want to hear this again. This didn't sound even European to me. And Swedish is so easy to recognize. It's so similar to my language. If I read Swedish Wikipedia, I understand like half of it. I understand literally half of this language when I read it.
Vilken tur att du är god vän med en sån. Hon ska tala om mammor i karriären. Jag gjorde inte det.
It's more obvious now that I know, but I guess I gaslit myself because I heard the word Berber. But still, I would recognize any Germanic language normally. So I don't know if these were just weird samples or if this was just a rare misser from my... This is literally my first complete garbage guess. I think, right? Yeah, I think this is my first complete garbage guess in 2 hours of this. So I think I'm allowed to call Sweden Swedistan. Kelvin, is Giga raining in your place yet about to the unifiers today? Oh, it's not even raining here. The weather is relatively nice for June, Korea, because normally it's already too humid and too hot, but it's still okay here. You should probably make Russia less powerful if they are taking into account geographic proximity. Yeah, it would be more fun if not like 60% was Russia and 30% India. That would be more fun for sure. Because that and makes it harder and just more interesting because you hear more diverse sounds, more diverse feelings, vibes. Disgusting word.
Mana bu qizning aytishicha, Xitoyda internet va uyali aloqa o'chirilgan. Hukumat faqat o'ziga qulay axborotni uzatmoqda. Xorijdagi Uyg'urlar Sharqiy Turkistondagi qarindoshlari va
Okay. I let you hear Turkestan, but Turkmenistan is not the same word, but I'm just gonna guess it. Uzbek. I guess that's also Turkestan. I mean, they're both Turkic people. Okay, well, maybe one more round and then we do something else. Because it's literally all Soviet Union. Okay, that's super cool. Like, this is the kind of stuff I want to hear more instead of just Soviet propaganda. This is some native language. Let's do another sample.
Naano molina like ole hikike ho'ololi I ka vai ho'olu'u o ka molina hikike oki he crop no ha'i.
When we had the hikiki before, it was Hawaiian. I'm pretty sure I've already heard this sample. But the first song is not... doesn't sound stereotypical Hawaiian at all. The first one was like that kind of Hollywood rain dance stuff. You know, some stereotypical Native American stuff. But this hikiki thing is... I feel like I've already heard that today, and it was Hawaii, a Polynesian language, an Austronesian language family member. So, last sample, I guess.
Doing all we can do with our hearts being true.
Okay, he's just speaking English now, so let's do the US. It's something native. Can be Hawaiian again, I guess. Yep, it is Hawaiian for the third time. Well, one of them was in the daily challenge. Hikiki is Hawaiian indeed.
うちの中学は弁当制で持っていけない場合は50円の学
Feel like I've heard this sample before as well. Man, they really need to get a better algorithm for this game. New max streak, thanks.
수행이 뭘 잘못했는지, 뭘 잘못 먹었는지 이것을 내가 잡아내서 지도를 해.
That sounds like my landlord. That actually sounded like my landlord.
수행이 뭘 잘못했는지, 뭘 잘못 먹었는지 이것을 내가 잡아내서 지도를 해야 되기 때문에 과학시대 수행처답게 내가
That temune is because, just so you know, Chad, but it really stood out for me there in his speech for some reason. I'm surprised it's zero Chinese and first Korea. Yeah, we've had Korean twice, and we indeed have not had a single language from China except Tibetan. That's the only language from China we've had, even though they have a shit ton of minority languages. That is indeed very suspicious. Maybe China is blocking this game or something. Also, the Australian natives have a shit ton of languages. And the natives in South and Middle America have a shit ton of languages. Of course, the US and Canada also used to, but, you know, they're all dead. So, not literally all, but mostly. And yeah, again, almost nothing from Africa either. It's very sad. Also, not many Austronesian languages, just Hawaiian and Indonesian. That's it. They have a shit ton of languages in Indonesia, Malaysia, and Philippines. And all these little island nations. Oh, we actually did have Maori once, and I guessed it correctly. Not only did I click New Zealand, but I mean, I also literally said, this is Maori. I just want to impress you guys. Understand, please.
Tunelis praktiski ir svarīgākais objekts Bosnijas vēsturē. Es domāju, ka būtu pietiekami pateikt, lai jūs saprastu.
Okay, this is funny. You hear some guy speak English in the background, right? And then this guy reads over it. That is such a fucking Polish thing to do. Everything was use these garbage readers because, you know, in Germany, they're also famous for dubbing everything in German, but at least they fucking act. Like they just use completely new voices, but the emotions they put into the voices make sense with what the actor originally did. But in Poland, if something is in a different language, they literally just read it from a piece of paper with no emotion at all. It's so horrible. But next sample, I can't really concentrate when it's half English.
Sakausējuma pielietošanas potenciāls ir neizsmeļams. Visu izdarījām, visu paņēmām līdzi, visu sēžam mašīnā.
I heard it bliet. So I'm going to click Russia. Latvian, okay. It's fake Russian. Fake Slavic. Because it's Baltic. He said Bosnia. Think about the proportion of things being recorded rather than just language existing. Yeah, unfortunately. I guess it's hard to record anything in China because they're kind of anal about journalism. No, this is probably just all AI generated stuff, right? I guess the Chinese internet is just not really connected to the AI, if that makes any sense. I'm probably sounding like a retard now, but... Oh, next one, I mean. Hello?
Просто еритне ликеле, патриархос кастенчинзе эзневне. Боярдненен апулсякснил.
This guy has throat cancer. Let's go to the next sample.
Тевейке. Стрелецна да князесь.
Okay, stop wasting time and just accept the Soviet overlords. Erzha again. The Finugric language. You're really excelling at this. Amazing work. I have 4 out of 5 completely correct and 1 of them close. Okay, one more and hopefully we get something new. If not, we're gonna do something else because it's getting a bit too much East Europe.
ხიბარ ხალვაში დაუგრებს ამ ტელევიზიად. აი იმ რუსთავი ორ ის თანამშრომლებთან და ნაცებთან ერთად გამოვიდეს და დადგეს იმ აქციაზე.
More Turkic Soviets, right? More Turkic Soviets.
Nietzsche არ არის ათეისტი. Nietzsche არის ანტი-ღმერთი. ეს სულ
Talking politics again must be Russia. I heard anti, so it's something political. Oh, there you go, Georgian. It's not actually Slavic, but yeah, Soviet Union again. Georgian is very unique, by the way. It's not really comparable to the rest. They have a very beautiful alphabet. Very, it looks like Elvish, the alphabet, with a lot of beautiful circles. But yeah, I can't actually recognize the language. They also have really fucked up consonant clusters. Really, really fucked up. That's why it sounds Slavic, I guess.
Eet jij een hamburger met mes en vork of met je handen?
Het ligt als fel, dus ik heb mijn zonnebril opgezet.
What? What? Is this a fever dream? Okay, chat. What is this? Let me know. What did you just hear? Sometimes you get a football broadcast from a real match. Well, I have no clue what this was, even though... Well, I'm not gonna explain it yet. What was this, chat? Anti-Merti, Djugashvili reporting. Djugashvili, where do I know that name from? I know it's a Georgian name, but... Wasn't there some famous person, Djugashvili? Is that a football player maybe? That's why, because you were saying about the football broadcast in the samples. It's not AI generated as far as I could tell. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna play this sample one more time because this is extremely funny to me. And I want you guys to guess with me. What is this?
Eet jij een hamburger met mes en vork of met je handen?
Het licht was fel, dus ik heb mijn zonnebril opgezet.
I feel like I'm in a fever dream. A really, really fucked up fever dream. Kind of a football player. Oh, wait, I know! His first name is Joseph. That's why it was familiar. It's Stalin. His real name. Jugashvili reporting. Now I understand why it sounded familiar. Football player of some sort. Abracadanish. That's pretty close. But I'm starting to really distrust this game because, spoiler alert, it's Dutch. But what they're saying is so absurd. And when the second guy speaks, I don't even understand the first word. I never got Danish, by the way. It's pretty easy to recognize. It's very potato. That's what people always say about it, and it's true. It really does sound like you're swallowing a potato while speaking. Danish is German. Well, I mean, that's close because my language is almost German. It's very closely related. So it's my language, but it's so absurd. I will translate for you guys.
Eet jij een hamburger met mes en vork of met je handen?
So first he asks, do you eat a hamburger with knife and fork or with your hands? That is already a bit funny. But then when the second guy starts speaking, then I get a complete fever dream. Because I don't even understand the first word he says. And then...
Het licht was fel, dus ik heb mijn zonnebril opgezet.
Eet jij een hamburger met...
I actually really don't know what the second guy says. He doesn't even have some very strong local dialect or something. He actually has a very standard... Not a dialect, it's just the standard Dutch pronunciation. But he says something like, it's laying like skin. I have put on my sunglasses. I'm so confused, especially because, if it had been a sample of a foreigner trying to speak Dutch, then they could make some funny mistake that would make them make this weird sentence because they're translating something literally from their sentence. But no, this is clearly not a foreigner. This is clearly a Dutch person with a very standard accent, a very standard pronunciation. And he's saying something like, it's laying like skin. I have put on my sunglasses. Surreal novel, exactly. I should definitely upload this to YouTube because I want to be able to find this fragment back. I want to find this sample. Where the fuck does this come from? And what is this second guy even saying? I will listen one more time. I want to know.
En vork of met je handen?
Het licht was fel, dus ik heb mijn zonnebril opgezet.
It's so weird. He literally says, do you eat the hamburger with knife and fork or with your hands? And then his reply is, it lays like skin. I have put on my sunglasses. It's absurd. Dadaist poetry. This is why I love language, but I didn't expect this to happen with my language. I thought I would get the Dadaist poetry from languages I don't understand, but I get it from the language that I grew up with. That is the weirdest language. Maybe it's Afrikaans, by the way. No. I would recognize that. Afrikaans sounds like retarded Frisian. And like I said, it has a very standard accent. If an Afrikaans speaker speaks Dutch, they also have a bit of an accent. I have met some Afrikaans speakers that like study in the Netherlands and then speak Dutch, and they have some very slight accent that is hard to describe. But no, this is standard Dutch. But the words... I mean, the first guy is completely normal. Sure, it's a bit of a weird sentence, but I can understand it, right? It's just a question, do you eat a hamburger with knife and fork or with your hands? It's a weird question, but it's a sentence that makes sense in a way, right? But then it lays like skin. I put on my sunglasses. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna listen to the other two samples because I want more of this fever dream. I want more.
Ik vind het gewoon los van de inhoud al raar dat we dat met z'n allen hier toestaan. Wat vindt u daarvan? Wat vindt de heer Van der Staaij daarvan?
Oh, okay. This was funny because I feel like I probably heard this before. This was some political meeting. Like it's a politician talking to another politician about some garbage. Anyway, not that interesting actually. Let's do the next one.
Ik wil daar absoluut niet makkelijk over spreken. Ik heb ook gecommuniceerd met mensen via de mail die hier zelf mee te maken hebben gehad. Dus ik heb alle begrip voor mensen die hierin voor hele lastige afwegingen zich gesteld voelen. En dat het soms heel...
Okay, it sounded like another politician trying to give some evasive answer or speech, whatever. That was also not that interesting. But the first one, 10 out of 10. Best thing I've heard so far in this game. And yeah, it's definitely not Afrikaans.
ମୋ ଭାରିଜା ଜବାବ ଦେଲା ମୁଁ ଘରେ ନଥିବାର କହିଲା ବାଟୋଇକୁ କହିଲା ଆଣ ଆଣ କଣ ଦେଉଛ ଦିଅ
Sounds like one of those. No, okay, I'm not gonna repeat that same joke again. Let's do the next sample.
ଯେ ସବୁ ଘଟଣାରେ ପୁରୁଷଙ୍କ କଠିନ ମନ
Okay, now it's way more obvious. As soon as they put in some energy into the speaking, the South Asian languages are very distinct. But if they do that kind of whispering, I'm usually not immediately sure. Odia, one of the many languages.
Quem escreveu esse artigo no Medium? Turistas em templo islâmico em dia ensolarado.
No clue.
O sol é amarelo. A vingança não é meu estilo, mas obviamente acidentes acontecerão.
Sounds like retarded Portuguese. When I said that before, it turned out to be Romansh in Switzerland. Maybe it's Romansh again.
O streamer de gás veio em nossa direção. Esta é uma notícia do céu azul de toda a família.
Maybe it's just normal Portuguese, but I'm gonna guess they repeated the same language that's spoken by 40,000 people. Oh, it actually is Portuguese this time. So I guess... Oh, that's why it's retarded Portuguese, because it's... Oh, no. It's... Okay. I thought it's some kind of local dialect of Portuguese, some colonial dialect, right? Angola, Brazil, but they're just saying it's spoken in all these different countries. So yeah, retarded Portuguese is Portuguese. That's funny, I guess.
Jasné. Pozrite sa, a to je znovu vec, ktorá nebude znieť dobre, sú situácie, momenty, do ktorých ak sa dostanete, tak z nich je veľmi malá šanca, že vyviaznete so zdravou kožou.
Russia time. There was a moment where I understood 3 words in a row. He used 3 loan words in a row from Latin. Slovak, well, close enough. Could be some spy code. Eurasian J is here. Anyway, it's definitely not Afrikaans. I would recognize that. I mean, we did get a new language. We got Dutch. So maybe we play one more round. I guess we also didn't have Georgian yet, but we did get Abkhaz. Okay, well, one more round and then we go do the Scrandle thing.
میخواهم این رو پروف کنم.
وزیر که در آنجا بود گفت نگران نباشید تمام چیزهایی که رخ میدهد در جهت خیر و صلاح شماست.
No clue.
از چه شرکتی تماس میگیرید؟
سپس من جای دیگر خواهم رفت.
خیلی وقت پیش.
Everyone is just whispering, man.
باید برم آماده بشم. من با سعید خوب بودم.
به این گونه افراد پیشنهاد شغلی بدهید و آنها را تشویق کنید.
I'm not sure. It could be India. It could be something Iranian. It could also be Soviet Turkic again. Which is weird because Soviet Turkic, well, the Soviet influence makes it Indo-European, I guess, but Turkic is not related to the Indo-European languages here. Oh.
باید برم آماده بشم. من با سعید خوب بودم.
به این گونه افراد پیشنهاد شغلی بدهید و آنها را تشویق کنید.
Yeah, this one is not really clear to me. I'll do India. Persian, yeah, you see, it's indeed, like I said, could be Iranian. Why did it say Persian? Isn't it Farsi? I know Persian is like the more common name in English, but I thought they were a try-hard game with Abkhaz and Romansh and Basque.
इंजीनियर के घर से मिली नाबालिग नौकरानी की लाश, हंगामा।
Hangama.
शीला को लेकर आपकी याचिका पर न्यायालय का फैसला सुरक्षित।
Sounds like India, but not 1% sure.
मेरी माँ को अक्सर सिर दर्द होता है।
Huta hai. That made it so clear that Huta hai. Hindi, there you go. The big language.
Merci de question. Effectivement, et programme ça t'est basé, comme on dit, c'est pour permettre parents, papa, maman petite, joindre livre.
That's a really weird French. I wonder what that accent is. Let's do another sample.
On va parler avec Madame Danielle J. Morin.
Now it's really normal French. The first sample, I feel like there must have been some dialect or something. What? Oh, that's why. It's a Creole language. Yeah, but why is this considered to be super wrong? It's literally a Creole language with French. I'm pretty sure that's correct. Let's Google that. No, I meant a language Kant. Two N's. Hello? Yes. Where is it? Language. Where's the Creole language? There you go. Here, French-based Creole. So that's actually also pretty stupid, that a French-based Creole, and I did hear it, right? I was like, the first sample was really weird. This is a really weird French. I heard that perfectly. And then they're saying this is completely wrong. But when I say, what was one that was really weird? Like sometimes I'm only close on the map, but not in a language family at all. Like what was it? Like Albanian and something Finugric or something. I think I did like Albanian and Erja or something. I don't know. I remember there were places where the language family was completely different, but it was close on the map. Oh yeah, there was Maltese. With Maltese, I guessed it was Romanian or something. I don't know. But something that was not Semitic. But just because it was close on the map, it gave me yellow instead of red. And now I'm saying, this is really weird French. So I click France. And then it's like, no, it's completely wrong because it's a French Creole language. It's not like French at all. It's only 90% French. Anyway, new language.
12ರ ಅಪವರ್ತನಗಳು 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12. 18ರ ಅಪವರ್ತನಗಳು 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 18.
ಕೆಲವು ನಾವು ನಿಮಗೆ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಡೋಸ್ ಅಂತ ಏನು
No, okay, definitely India. For a moment I thought maybe it could be something Canada. Oh yeah, I always thought it was funny that there's a language called Canada, but it's not spoken in Canada. Canada is how you pronounce Canada. Canada in Dutch. So Canada. How do you even pronounce this in English? Canada, right? Canada. Next.
Kama wlepiła weń spojrzenie zionące gniewem i nienawiścią. Nigdy więcej.
Sounded like more retarded Portuguese, so it might be Portuguese.
Teraz muszę stać. Ale potem będziemy mogli pogadać?
No, I'm really not sure. Oh, nice.
Gęsta sieć ścieżek rowerowych zaprowadzi nas do okolicznych rezerwatów przyrody.
Okay, now it's somewhere Russia. Hello? No, this is the first time I didn't recognize Polish. I really wonder what these samples were. Because we already had Polish like 3 times and I recognized it very quickly all those times. And now it sounded like retarded Portuguese at first and then just confusion and then Slavic. But I didn't hear it was Polish for the first time. So I don't know, maybe that was just like that hamburger sample in Dutch. It just makes no sense. And this is very sad that they say this is incorrect when it's literally 90% French. You know, it's funny, we never had actual Russian. Yeah, I think that's very funny too. A million languages in Russia and not Russian itself. That must mean something. Canada, 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 Canada. I live in Canada, Canada. I live in Canada. How to play? Let's scram. Okay, this is a new game. What? What am I supposed to do? So this was recommended to me in Discord by Kylis after I posted my stuff in Discord that I'm streaming Origins and Language Guesser. And he said, you baller game, but I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Brøndby, Manchester United. I'm looking at football teams that are eating garbage food. What am I doing? Do I have to choose which food is the most garbage or the least garbage? I don't even know what this is. Like, it looks like bread. Oh, it says hot dog. Okay. I mean, this looks like you will definitely get cancer if you eat this. This looks like you might get cancer if you eat this. So I'll choose this. Did I win? Because I clicked 40%. Leicester's it. Godver. I was so disgusted that I switched to Dutch because my emotion was that pure. I was like saying, yeah, disgusting, because I see this fucking football club sticker on a piece of bread. So I was so disgusted. I know what it tastes like, those kind of edible papers. It's so disgusting. Red Leicester sausage roll, cancer. Club Atletico Paranaense. Also cancer. I have to again choose between cancer and cancer. Okay. I don't want to eat the sticker, but this meat is also fucking minging. I guess Brazil, because who would ever choose for anything English? Did I win again? Because I chose the green one? I think I'm winning. Why is this all football club food? Why? Play for the Patriots. USA, Luton Town. Okay, the USA is even worse than England, so I'm going to choose it. It also genuinely looks better. This is the first food picture that doesn't look completely terrible so far. This barbecue chicken loaded fries. Like, there's actually stuff going on. There is some color instead of just pure brown smut. Oh, I guess I lost. I really don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know what these percentages mean and if I'm winning or not. How do I even win? Fleet Street Burger. Ghost patty, crispy bacon, cheese, onions, and lettuce. Yeah, sure. Black pudding. Okay, that's even more disgusting. Black pudding sausage roll. And again, they put a fucking sticker on it. Why do they put these stickers on it? Seriously, football fans are actually 2 years old in the brain. Like, football is actually a pretty cool game. I like the game, but the world around it is so retarded. Like, this is literally 2-year-old behavior. I want to buy this food because it has my character's sticker on it. It has SpongeBob on it. This is literally, oh, SpongeBob is on the bread. I want this bread. Fuck you. Grow up. Speaking from a 31-year-old who's 18 and dating with an 18-year-old as well. So, get fucked. Hey, this is Netherlands. Geen vieze handen, no dirty hands. And this is ironic again. Geen vieze handen, says the newspaper, no dirty hands. And look what he has, dirty hands. He has literal spicy shite on his wiener. It also is literally just called sausage. Absolutely disgusting. Ebbsfleet United. The Fleet Dog. Also absolutely disgusting. I don't know what to choose, because this is both not edible. Sausage, yes, indeed. That is a thing. I guess I will just choose this one because I grew up very close to this city of Utrecht. So I guess for nostalgic reasons, I will choose this, but this is not edible either. Oh, everyone thinks this looks amazing. Okay. People are weird. Oh, what is this? Ah! Oh, what the fuck is that? It's literally snot eggs. This is literally some like a dolphin scrotum. This is a dolphin scrotum with parsley, pie, mash, and liquor. Pie, mash, and liquor. What? There is alcohol in here? This is so minging. Fuck English people. Fuck them up the ass. Free India. Kill all Brits. I guess the Scots can live, maybe. And what is this? Currywurst with bread. Well, I'm not gonna choose the dolphin balls with liquor. Yeah, I'm not surprised I'm winning here. Nottingham Forest pizza dog. That's such an American thing, but it's England. I mean, kind of same thing, right? Bratwurst. Yeah, I mean, this is also not edible, but, you know, Germany does tend to care more about quality than England does. It's also way cheaper. I don't know if that's relevant in this game, the price, but I would definitely rather spend $2.50 on getting cancer than $6.50. Yep, Bratwurst won. Barcelona SC. Pollo a la brasa, so braised chicken. Braised chicken. Food in Spain is very good, but this also doesn't look great. Samosas and sauce. Samosas are amazing. But, I mean, people always say that Indian food in England is also amazing, but I don't know, because I've never been to England, because I don't like that place. Like, they have humor and that's it. Outside of humor, they have absolutely nothing going on, except genocide, etc. The same colonial shit my country did, but then upscaled times 10. So I don't know, because I don't want to click the Brit thing, but it's samosa, which is Indian, and it's great. And I like Spanish food, but this doesn't look great. When I order Indian in my neighborhood now, I usually, here in Korea, then I usually add some samosas. I guess I will choose for the Brits for once. And I won the game, I guess. Wembley Stadium, chicken and chips. Is this a fucking croissant chicken? Look at the shape. This is a fucking croissant chicken. Croissant chicken. Oui, oui, la vache cheeseburger. Disgusting. Look how bad this is. It's literally fucking tar. They're eating tar. You see this fucking asphalt. This burger is asphalt. This is so... Oh, man. This is why I left Europe. This is why I moved. You've seen the sausage from the Dutch club before, right? The fucking sausage with spicy shite on it and a newspaper wrapped around it. And then look at this. This absolute abomination. It's a fucking snow white bread with asphalt and plastic cheese that is not made out of anything that is related to a cow. There is no cow inside this cheese, and there's no cow inside this beef. It's asphalt with plastic with... What even is the bread? So you have asphalt, plastic. What is the bread? Styrofoam. Styrofoam, plastic, tar, asphalt. I'm actually offended looking at this picture. So I guess I'll choose this fucking chicken and chips. Croissant chicken. Yeah, you see? Nobody likes this. I'm not surprised. That thing was horrible. Chicken tikka and lamb kebab. It honestly doesn't look bad. I guess because, you know, it's not actual British food. Chips, beans, and cheese. Yeah, nice meme. Can we stop it with all these rapes of English food? Like, English food is an actual rape to look at. It's actually... I actually feel penetrated in holes that I don't want to be. Like, it's actually horrible. Slowtown FC. Yeah, at least this doesn't look bad. But, you know, it's also fucking Indian plus Turkish. Somehow. Nice mix. Yeah. Everyone knows the only British food that is edible is not British food. So I almost made a perfect game on my first try. I guess the game is choose what you think most people choose. It's a be a populist politician game, right? Guess what the people want. Guess what the people want to eat. But I don't think I want to play this again, because this is actually painful. You turned 40% Dutch when you saw the cheeseburger. What does that mean? You mean the cynicism? Because yes, that then I agree. Or you mean the anger over nothing? Because then I also agree that that's a very Dutch thing. Oh, your accent went through the roof. That's because I got emotional, I guess. I didn't notice that my accent went through the roof, but basically the more emotional, the less control, right? Because I can actually speak, or at least I could. I'm not 1% sure if I still can. I used to have a very nice accent in English, but I don't know why. At some point I lost it when living in Korea, which makes sense because everyone I speak to has some accent themselves, right? If I use English with them. But they don't have Dutch accents, so it doesn't really make sense that my Dutch accent resurfaced when living here, but it really did. Maybe that's just some mental thing that people do when everyone has an accent in English around you. You just go back to your own. But I used to have a pretty proper British accent, or I guess more like Australian, because it was kind of a mix between American and British. A lot of Dutch people have that because we consume media from both places. Most places only consume media from the US, right? But the Netherlands also consumes quite a bit of media from the UK. I also watched quite a lot of BBC as a kid and young adult. So it was like a mix of that, but I didn't have much of a Dutch accent. But yeah, it's definitely there nowadays. And when I get emotional, I don't have control. Yeah, it goes through the roof. That's a nice way to say it. I was actually mad at that cheeseburger. That's such an insult because people pay money for that. You can't sell that. It should not be allowed to sell that. It's just a crime. If I sell you a service, like, I don't know, okay, I teach Dutch, right, as my job, even though I barely have any work nowadays, unfortunately. But back when I did, let's imagine you pay me for Dutch lessons, and then I just don't give you a Dutch lesson. How would you feel? That's a crime, right? That's kind of stealing. That's what that is. You're paying for food, but you're not getting food. You're getting asphalt with plastic with styrofoam. It's completely insane. Actually, I'm going to play this one more because I'm not sure if this is always a football food game or if it's also from restaurants or something. Finished. What? Few exotic and delicious Scrandle. That was not exotic and not delicious. This is a lie. Guess which Scrandle is superior and independently adjudicated with thousands of food Scrandle followers. Anyway, this sentence is a lie, but maybe they sometimes actually show food from restaurants instead of fucking football stadiums in Europe. Because football stadium food is probably the worst food in the world. It's like literally worse than McDonald's somehow. It's all criminal. What happens if you click? No, it's all football or sports teams at least. Tilbury and Shonan Belmare. What does Belmare mean? Because obviously it's English, but it's also in Japan, so I'm a bit confused. Doesn't look bad. It actually looks like real food. Is that a stadium food? Really? Let's Google what Shonan Belmare is for club. Maybe it's a golf club, and then you know why. Shonan Belmare is a Japanese professional football club in Hiratsuka. Oh, it's just football. It's not even a golf club or something other that's fancy. Okay. Pretty impressed that this is football stadium food, but I guess we're not in Europe, so that's why. Okay, I guess we'll finish this, even though it's going to be painful. Obviously, we're not choosing the Brits. What? People actually choose this? People have no taste. Spanferkel oder Kakauer and a Pint. What? Why is it half English? And a pint, I suppose. Krakauer. Krakow is a city in Poland, so I guess these are sausages of genocided Jews. Like, I don't know why they're using a Polish city name in German for a piece of hot dog. That's really weird. I'm not choosing that. I'm choosing Spanferkel, and I lost again. Man, I'm really on a genocide trip. Hey, it's the same fucking FC Utrecht fucking sausage again. Pizza slice. Seriously, you have to pay $2, £2 for this super tiny piece of garbage? This is so depressing. Both of these. The funny thing is, these pictures are kind of exactly the same. You see that? Like the composition and the atmosphere. It's completely the same. Have you considered the accent coming back has to do with your leaving Dutch? Yeah, but I'm not really nostalgic for the Netherlands, you know? I don't miss it. I mean, maybe that's something subconscious. I don't know. I don't know how that works. Imagine if all photos are made by one person. But then they're traveling really a lot around the world. In all these football stadiums. Who the fuck goes to a Japanese football game if you also go to all these European games? That doesn't make sense. Teaching Dutch, not leaving you, baboon. Ah, yes. But no, because it already happened before I started teaching Dutch. You know, I also lived in Korea for 4 years before I started teaching. Then it already started coming. So I don't think it's related. It might have intensified it. It might have accelerated it. Anyway, this is both garbage, but I will be patriotic, I guess. Nobody likes this pizza. Chapecoense, Brazil. Pizza and beer. What am I looking at? Is this a pizza? This is so confusing. Because I just see all this red and there's nothing on it. Just a little bit of cheese and one leaf of question mark. And it's in Italy? Aren't you supposed to be good at pizza? It doesn't look good. I will choose this because pizza in Italy should be better than in Brazil. And these sausages look disgusting on here. This also doesn't look like a pizza. It's literally just some spam meat on... I don't even know what kind of dough it is because it's really white. Like some kind of egg dough, I don't know. But yeah, this also looks horrible. But this is really disappointing. I thought Italians wouldn't stand for bad quality food. It looks really bad. There's nothing on there. Olive pizza. Look at this shit. Olive pizza. One olive. And how is this a pizza? It looks like some kind of bacon cake. What the fuck is this? It's a square piece of question mark again. It's just completely abstract. It's like an abstract painting of an olive pizza. Literally, this is actually, I don't know, Kandinsky olive pizza. Rothko. It also has a little bit of a Rothko vibe with well, not really. It's too much variance, but you know, you have these lines, right? If you have some imagination and you, no, okay, it's really not like a Rothko, but it's definitely some kind of abstract expressionism. One olive, red and yellow, falling asleep. Good luck, if you know what I mean. I do know what you mean. I'm also almost going to sleep after finishing this round of garbage food. Chicken burger. I mean, they're both horrible, but this is really a joke. France, also garbage food. Newcastle United, salt and pepper chicken. Pumas Unam, Mexico, pigskin in salsa. I actually had pigskin in Korea. That's a dish here, not a common one, because Koreans actually, most Koreans don't like it themselves. I tried it once, kind of recently, and it's literally the only Korean food I've ever eaten that I hated. It was really bad. So I'm gonna choose this. Pigskin is horrible. It's just pure fat. And the texture is horrible. So yeah, pigskin, no thanks. This is the Netherlands again. Botervlaai. Vlaai is actually good. Venlo is in a province called Limburg, and they almost have no. Well, that's not true. So a very big part of their identity is this vlaai. That's like their dish of that province, and that's what they're famous for. And it's different from normal pies, from normal cakes, because of what? I think because you add ingredients after. I think that's what makes it different from a cake. Because with a cake, you make the whole cake, put it in the oven, take it out, right? But here, you first make something, put it in the oven, take it out, and then add other stuff after. I think that's the difference between vlaai and other types of cakes. So I'm definitely choosing this. This is actually good, unlike this, which is also from the Netherlands. So yeah, the pastries in the Netherlands are actually not bad. There's only a few things in the Netherlands that are edible. Pastries, dairy products, and if you go to good places, fries. Anything with potato, really. It's really just potato, dairy products. I also said cheese. That's also a dairy product, XD. So basically just dairy products. Oh yeah, pastries is what I meant to say. Those kind of sweet cakes and stuff. Just in Tom Hoek United double bacon cheeseburger. No thanks. Yakiniku. Okay, easy yakiniku. Okay, people have no taste. More pigskin. Oh, it's the exact same stuff. Siros Kenyer. Kenyer. Sounds like Dutch word for cancer. Kenjelier. Kenjelier. Yeah, no more pigskin, please. Diced beefsteak. Or pork and stuffing. What the fuck is bap? Like in Korean, this means rice. But what does it mean in English? What the fuck is bap? Stuffing bap. Bap meaning. What? Why do I get Hindi results? A round, soft form of bread is usually smaller than a loaf. A soft white bap. I've literally never heard of that word before. That's weird. Fucking Brits. This must be a British word, right? Excellent Duelyst content is British. Yeah, that's why. It does sound like one of those British words, right? It's like bibbity babbity boop. The funny British stuff. Bibbity babbity boop. Or is that Bill Cosby? I don't know. Bap is a Sammy. Is Sammy the same as a sandwich? Because it sounds like a sandwich. Anyway, yeah. I mean, English food or Japanese food, huh? What a choice. Finished. Man, this game is actually hard to play because it just makes me mad that people have to pay money for these things. It's actual scamming. We're actually looking at scams. I've never heard of it before. So that's how British it is. Because you're born and raised in the US, right? I sometimes, you know, there was a time that I thought you were completely Norwegian. So that's why I'm always a bit confused. Bab is also slang for breasts. That makes sense, though. Because those kind of small, soft white loaves, they look a bit like lump breasts, right? Like if you have a fat chick with relatively small breasts, then they look like this. Like a B cup on a fat girl looks like this. That actually makes sense. In Dutch, we also have a lot of funny words for tits. For example, if a woman has very large tits, then you can say she has a... How can you translate that properly? Boshout voor de deur. Yeah, like a forest amount of wood in front of the door. So it's kind of like a metaphor of a lumberjack in his little lumberjack lodge, and he cut down the whole forest and put it in front of the door. You know what I mean? It sounds so abstract now, but it basically means you have a lot of stuff in front of your door, a lot of wood, a lot of tit in front of your body. You know what I mean? So that's one of my favorite slangs for. It's not really slang. It's like a old-fashioned expression almost. I don't know how to explain it. Oi, gof, let me pick at them Pepsi in it. Yes, yes, lad. I don't know how to do that bruv accent, the in it accent. It's kind of weird because I've watched so much English stuff. Like Peep Show is one of my favorite comedies ever. But also if you also one of some comedies that actually have actual accents, like Limmy's Show from Scotland. I mean that's Scottish English, but still, or Royal Family from Manchester. I've watched quite a lot of media with strong accents, but I can't imitate any of the British ones. Harry Potter. I can do that one. That one is pretty convincing, I think. Harry Potter. Ah, a British Shakespearean. A soft white bap. Funny word. Do I play one game of Duelyst before logging off? Before going to sleep? How late is it? 1:30. Okay, let's do one game of Duelyst, Calvin. Because our game got abandoned by the servers. And then I'm going to sleep. It's a bit late. The language guesser game was fun, but too repetitive. They need more diversity in that game. That's worst case scenario. It's difficult to deal with for Abyss. Maybe just play another Bastion so that I can find an answer. I think that makes sense. Then I can also keep the healing. It means I have no damage on the board though. That's a problem. I think we might be fine because of this card. I don't want to put this in the middle because then he goes here to use the tile and kills a Bastion for free. If I put it here, he has to choose kill the middle Bastion or the top one, I guess. And then he takes mid, but he can't summon something into the tile. So I think it makes sense to put it here or somewhere completely backline. But I think it makes more sense to put it next to a tile so that I can summon something into the tile without having my general there, right? So I'll put it here. That can help. Nice. That's what I was looking for mostly. I also have Night Sorrows in the deck. That's also something I need to replace for. So if you open double Bastion as player 2, you just have a full hand. I mean, you also have no board, I guess. Because these things don't do anything. Why did people even make pictures of those football stadium foods? They were so bad. I don't know how you can watch that. How you can make a picture of that, I mean, because why would you want to? This is not good against Russia's faction. I'm not drawing 2 cards at the end of my turn if I play this now. That would not be great. I guess I could suicide a Jaxi, get a Heartseeker. I think that's worth it because, you know, we're not going to fatigue. And me playing this here, then this goes to 3 mana, means he has to punch this 1/1 ranged, or I get a Heartseeker. So he can't really take this tile. Right? So I think it makes sense to actually do this. It also allows me to draw an extra card. And I don't care about wasting this card. It's not important in my deck. I do think I need to hit against obelisks, right? Because at some point you run out of answers because they play a million dispel targets. So I do think I have to hit them when I can. So yeah, now he has to choose between clearing my mini jacks and not getting the mana, or take the mana and give me a Jax, right? So that's why I think it was definitely worth getting rid of the Jaxi there. For this matchup, it's good that I'm playing the Shroud version of the deck now. Oh. Now I wish I didn't hit him in the face. Because he's playing aggro. It's not obelisks. I got baited. That probably means he has Russias. So maybe I just lure both of these things. But it's also not bad to get Russias out of his deck, right? Like, what else would I lure in his deck, though? Because he's probably only playing Fireblaze to give Russias and Fury extra attack. That's what I think. I don't think he's playing actual Obelisk deck, now that I see these two cards. I mean, he could. You can play Obelisks with extra burst. It's not a bad idea. No, I'm gonna replace this. I think I would rather have a more diverse hand and have something on the board. So I'm gonna play these two. Because double lure, in a way, prevents more damage. Because this heals for 2 and these heal for 3. But then I have no board and I don't have a lure in my hand, right? Maybe I shouldn't have kept these, because he's probably not playing a Dispel target dot deck in that case. He plays Pyros, so it's nice to keep a lure. Maybe he's playing some kind of burnish Dispel target deck, like he plays these burn cards plus Obelisk and Amara, and then these Shrouds will be useful. He definitely plays more than one Fireblaze, I assume. So it's definitely not bad keeping Shrouds, but maybe I don't need to. But yeah, now I'm actually not hitting him in the face and playing conservatively, right? Before I hit him, but then he played Tiger Flameblood, so I'm backing off instead. I'm the late game deck. And I think he's not. Because if you play Tiger Flameblood, you can't play a million Dispel targets, so I might not run out of removal, actually. This guy would have been nice last turn, but Mystic almost does the same thing. This heals me for 2, this heals me for 3, but Mystic has a better body. He does indeed play more Fireblazes, and because he backlines it this much, I think that clearly means he's indeed playing it just to give attack value to Dervishes. We could Dispel it this turn, but then he gets whatever card he wants from Dream Shaper. That's not great. We could Dispel both things. If we play with a Blood Tier to chain, but I don't really like that play. Like, I don't know, is it that big of a deal to give one attack to his Russias and his Fury? If we play around Fury, how does he kill off his Dream Shaper? He's backlining it so hard that I don't really know how he gets the Dying Wish off. He's playing Mole, maybe? I remember him saying that's a funny combo, and I agreed. I don't know what I should care more about, the Fireblaze or the Dream Shaper. I think I care about both. I do have to play into Fury a bit, but he can't combine it with Third Wish this turn, so it's fine. He doesn't have 7 mana, otherwise this play would be pretty deadly. But if he Furies now, I don't really care. It costs most of his turn. He can't get a spawn in front of this Shroud and this Mystic. It's just 3 spawns, that's it. And this one can't even go face this spawn. So it's just 4 mana, 4 damage, that's whatever. If he plays Amaras, then I might regret playing these Shrouds. We have only one other Shroud in the deck, and he has one more Obelisk, which also just gets eaten by Novas and Revenants. So maybe I shouldn't have Shrouded this Fireblaze, I don't know. He's backlining everything. Astral Phasing is not a card anymore, right? So I don't really know why he's backlining everything. I guess because it has 0 attack. I guess that's why. And I have Night Sorrows that I'm not drawing. Yeah, I should have definitely not dispelled this. I have so many good answers to this. Like Lure can also answer it very nicely, and like I said, Night Sorrow. Okay, it's indeed some kind of burnish deck. I don't know how he's getting this into me though. I'm gonna replace this. I think I might need a healing because he's playing that kind of aggro stuff. If I put it here, then he can walk 2 back. Right, and then if I want to Nova his face again, then I get only 2 tiles. So I Nova here. I think I wanted to take this 2 damage, right? From the Mystic. I might need it. I might need that damage to deal with something. But I can also just run away, right? Like sure, if he gets a Dream Shaper wish, he can MDS this. Maybe he has Dream Shaper Mole in hand and he just gets any card he wants. So maybe I spread out against Frenzy. And Fury Spawn, so I guess Mystic 2 up, me 2 down. Then this Fury Spawn can't hit me. And I also don't get Frenzied. By the way, Nova Face here was not a very good play, but I felt like I couldn't really do anything else. I felt like it was a better play than just playing Rejuve. Because I had another Nova already in my hand. Oh yeah, that's also a reason to keep my Mystic. Is Banishing. I played 2 of that in this game. Looks like he does indeed have a way to suicide his Dream Shaper, right? Yes, he actually does play Shaper Mole. I shouldn't be surprised. He did tell me that's a cool combo, and it is. So, what card is he choosing to fly this into my face? That's the question. Now I want my Blood Tear back to hit this thing. MDS, okay. That is painful. You can even Third Wish. Well, that's only 3 damage actually. Obviously I'm not gonna hit this. These cards together are nice. Nova clears everything, but I draw only 1 card. I don't think I need that many rejuice, even though he's playing kind of Bernie Sanders. Okay, nice. Now we can... No, we actually can't. Well, we can play these 2 cards. You know, this is just less resources wasted. If I play these 2 cards instead of these triple. No, if I want this body, I can't. I have to play Breath first. I know I can play these 2, but then my Rejuve dies, so... Since he plays Tigers, and his deck is very aggressive, I think I'm actually gonna run away from him. So I'm not putting the Mystic close to him. I could have walked forward to him to get the Mystic closer to him, but I would rather be out of range of Tiger, which I'm not, actually. He can just walk too forward and Tiger me. So maybe that was dumb. Maybe that was dumb. Mo indeed. That is a pretty scary combo, to be honest. It's 3 mana, get any card in the game you want, plus a 4/1 body. That is pretty good, you know. 3 mana, any card in the game you want in your hand, and a 4/1 body. It does cost 2 cards. He does play Amaras. That is actually kind of scary because we have only 1 Shroud left. And we need to not die to burn. We can lure it away, but he can also maul Dream Shaper. He has 1 Dream Shaper left in the deck. We could also just Nova his face. I guess we then also hit the Aymara. And then we drop to 7 HP. That seems scary, because he plays Flameblood. I don't think we can drop to 7. I have 1 Shroud left in the deck. I think I don't really need the Banishing. I want to keep this so that I can draw 2 cards with Nova. I could lure it, I guess, instead of Jaxieing. Now that I think about it, that's always better, right? So that he can't kill off his Aymara on my Novas. Where are we gonna lure the Aymara though? I don't want this to be able to stand on my creeps to suicide itself, so I guess here. The Mystic goes here, because if I get my last Nova, I don't want him to be able to walk here so that I get less tiles, which probably doesn't matter anyway. 8, 11... he also shouldn't hit me in the face. Maybe that gives him lethal. So I walk only 1 forward, so that nothing can hit me. I don't need to hit him in the future, and he also wouldn't let me anyway. But yeah, I also don't need to, because I have Rev. He needs to heal or kill me. Yeah, if he has another mole with the last Dream Shaper, then he can get whatever he wants for the Aymara. What would be good with this Aymara? I'm not sure. Third Wish. Okay. I guess we won then. But that deck is really cool. It's a really interesting take on burn. It's a very unique take on burn. When I play Duelyst again, I want to play more against that deck. Seems like a cool concept. I also feel like that could actually be pretty strong. Even though it looks memey, I think it could be legit. Because, you know, you can get any card in the game combined with all that unavoidable damage, or in the case of Aymara, only sometimes unavoidable. Yeah, it looks interesting. Anyway, I'm going to sleep. Thanks for the 2 games, Kelvin. And next time I play Duelyst, let's play more against that deck. Looks cool. And the rest of chat, thanks for watching. Until next time, bye.